Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law with what pertains to be a unhappy edition of the ongoing dispute between Toddy and Without a Crystal Ball. We're just going to try to get through it the same way we always do. We're just going to read the documents. I'm reading them with you the first time live, just like I always do, so I've not read these documents, but I've seen enough people talk about it in the ether to indicate to me that this is going to be an unhappy one, and I've titled the stream accordingly. But I'm going to try to approach this as best as I can, as I always do. Try to be as objective and fair and hopefully dispassionate as possible, because that's what justice should be. I always like this line very much, that justice can be zealous but not passionate. And it is good. In my opinion, it is good for a judge to be cold-blooded, that they're non-reactive to what's going on. They just look at the facts, as Emily would say, not the fuckery, right? Just the facts, and they just respond to things like, okay, that's interesting, that's interesting. It's a very intellectual exercise, and it should be a very intellectual exercise, because I think that produces the best quality results. We just be like, okay, well, this person did this horrible thing. This person did this horrible thing. Let's just look up the law books. What does it say? Just do that. Very cold, very unemotional, very unpassionate, just very by the numbers. So that's kind of one things I do. So we're going to read this and see how well that goes, I guess. But I've been told this is not a happy place. So let's get started with the not a happy place. We will start with the principal document, and we will move our way there. Okay, great. Let's do that now. All right. So we are here with the plaintiff. That would be from Saltz's end of the equation. The response to defendant's motion for a status conference. Okay, well, let's see what that has to say. While defendant's motion for status conference fails to comply with the court's standing order for all civil cases, and there's a footnote here, defendants failed to make a meaningful effort to confer prior to the motion. Well, if that's the only violation of the standing order, then not so bad, but okay. Plaintiffs do not dispute that a status conference with the court is necessary. I kind of thought that Saltz would say it's necessary. My prediction, which was kind of true, sort of, kind of, not really, but my prediction was that Saltz was going to say, yes, we need a status conference. And by the way, here's 5 to 10 pages of more shade. So I was kind of right, because Saltz did say, yes, we need a status conference, but I underestimated the total number of additional pages. Although I guess maybe not, depending on your point of view, because the principal response is only 9 pages long. There's affidavits, so I guess you can decide how right I was. So I said Saltz would say yes, and here's 5 to 10 pages of other stuff. So was I right because the principal response was 9 pages, or was I wrong because all the addendum are like 150 pages? I don't know. You guys can argue amongst yourselves on how right or wrong I was about that one. Okay, great. However, if the court considers defendant's informal request to place constraints on counsel's public behavior, plaintiff respectfully requests an opportunity to submit additional briefing, as defendants have failed to establish that an order forbidding plaintiff's counsel speech is warranted. Fair enough. Additionally, if a gag order is to be issued, it must be issued against all participants, including defendants. Well, that's definitely true. Yeah, if there's going to be a gag order, it's going to be universal. The idea of a one-sided gag order is not really a thing very much. Plaintiffs also seek to address defendants' misrepresentations in their motion. At no point has plaintiff's counsel Michael Saltz publicly accused Ms. Paulson of hacking into his Twitter and Gmail accounts. Okay, fair enough. Well, again, it depends on how you read it, right? And we read them together. And I made this exact same critique. Like, I agree with Saltz, because I read what was said. I read them on stream with you. I read the tweets. And I agreed with Saltz when I was reading it. I agreed with Saltz that, yeah, these are not accusations. These are just statements. So, yeah, it works. I agree with his reading. Finally, plaintiffs agree that court intervention is appropriate this time, but disagree that's due to the actions of the plaintiff's counsel. Well, yeah, obviously. Defendants, not plaintiff's counsel, are attempting to litigate their case on social media. Really? I guess we'll see. Okay. Notably, plaintiffs have not made a single public statement about this case to date. Now, I see. They mean defendants proper, not defendants counsel. Sometimes I even make that mistake because this is a stylistic choice of mine. But sometimes when I'm writing about the other side's lawyer, I'll say just them. Like I'll say, so am I writing about defendants counsel? I'll just say defendant because the lawyer's representing them, right? So that's a stylistic thing that I sometimes do. In fact, I do it quite a lot. Where if I'm talking about the other side's lawyer in a court proceeding, I'll just say like the defendants instead of defendants counsel because they are standing for the person. So it's like, well, defendant said when it's really their attorney. So I misread it because of how sometimes I write this. Yeah. So defendants proper, not the plaintiff's counsel, right, are attempting to litigate their case on social media. Fair. Since the filing of this case on October the 30th of 2020, defendants have published or made dozens of unprovoked, prejudicial public statements regarding this statement on various social media platforms, including but not limited to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Plaintiffs' counsel have used social media to investigate this case, seek out witnesses and evidence, and on occasion refute the prejudicial public statements. That's a mostly fair characterization from my point of view. That does seem to be what Salsa is doing, yes. Yeah, Dana S points out that there might need to be trigger warnings, but I did try to title the stream accordingly to what it is, right? I didn't try to hide the ball. I told you in the title of the stream, this is going to be kind of ugly, so, there's your trigger warning. Since plaintiff's lawsuit was filed less than 3 months ago, defendants have made dozens of public statements regarding this case on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Below is a non-existent list of dates on which defendants addressed this case on social media. October the 31st, Twitter and 2 YouTube videos entitled, "It's True About the Westbrooks and I'll Be Okay, and This Channel Will Keep Going." November the 1st, Twitter. November the 6th, Twitter. November the 8th, Twitter. November the 9th, YouTube, My Story, My Statement, and My Mistakes. November the 11th, Twitter. November the 25th, YouTube, update on the lawsuit, responding to criticism, how to give back. November the 29th, YouTube, am I okay? November the 29th, presumably this is more YouTube since we didn't clarify otherwise. No one deserves anything. No one deserves anything? That seems a little problematic, but never mind. December the 27th, venting out our frustrations. November 29th, all this needs to stop. Well, that much I think we can all agree on, kind of. So maybe we all agree with Katie as to that much, at least. January the 7th, Twitter and YouTube, the worst day ever. January the 8th, Twitter. January the 15th, YouTube, he's evil. Trisha Paytas is terrified of Jeffree Star over this. Wow. January 6th, YouTube, this is really bad, she's done. And January 18th, Twitter. That's a lot of stuff. Yeah. No, I don't know why there should be a trigger warning because I haven't read the documents in advance. I never read the documents in advance. I share my thoughts with you in live time. And the law is ugly. I feel like this is the side of the T that you guys kind of signed up for the whole time. With all due respect to everyone, you guys have been enjoying this and you have every right to enjoy it. I don't begrudge you for enjoying it. But the law can be an ugly place sometimes, and you don't get to have the sweet without the bitter. You don't get to have the good without the bad. So I'm happy that you've been enjoying the tea so far. And if these images are disturbing, well, I don't know what to tell you other than you kind of signed up for that. So you signed up for the whole thing. You don't just get to get the parts that you want. It's like you want coverage of this case, you're getting coverage of this case, man. For better or worse, we're in this. That's what's happening now. So, hope that works out for you because that's what we're doing. In mid-January of 2021, Mr. Salt and several of the plaintiff's witnesses were subjected to widespread hacking of their personal social media and email accounts, as well as vicious online statements, including doxing. On the morning of January the 18th of 2021, a federal holiday, it was Martin Luther King Day, Mr. Saltz alerted Mr. Brown to the urgent issue and requested a telephone conference to discuss the matter. The two exchanged emails, but no telephone conference occurred, nor did Mr. Brown request one prior to the motion. Well, emails can be conferring, just like a telephone call. So if you had multiple emails, that's a good faith request to confer. All right, the arguments. This courting standing order for all civil cases requires that the parties make a meaningful effort to confer prior to filing a motion. Further, the parties should provide for at least 3 business days between attempts to confer and a motion filing, and shall explain their specific efforts to comply if contact was not successfully made. Motions that do not comply may be summarily denied. In one of Mr. Brown's emails on January the 18th of 2021, he stated, "I'm skeptical about your allegations, but they should be aired in front of the judge. I also have concerns that I want addressed. I don't think we can get our attention on holiday, but perhaps we should send an email or something today." We saw that. We saw that email. No attempt was made by Mr. Brown to subsequently discuss the matter. Mr. Brown's file was filed on later the same day. Well, did you respond to this email and say, we shouldn't do something today? Or did you say we should confer first or whatever? So I'm not really sure I agree with Saltz here. Maybe it wasn't 3 business days, so maybe that part, but there does seem to be an attempt to confer. Defendants failed to establish how Mr. Saltz limited statements to his relatively small groups of followers on Twitter. So now we're having a fight about what compromises or composes a substantial Twitter following, I guess. Yeah. Defendants acknowledge that Plans Toddy Westbrook is a prominent social media personality. Additionally, Ms. Paulson has over 2,000 more Twitter followers than Mr. Saltz and has a YouTube channel with more than 135,000 subscribers. Is that a lot? 2,000 more Twitter followers? Okay. Ms. Paulson has continued to address this case to her followers on both Twitter and YouTube, among other social media venues, since Plant's complaint was filed. That does seem to be very true, yes. Moreover, the filings in this case are publicly available and closely followed by the party's thousands of supporters and detractors. Yeah. Or those who are trying to, as best as they can, to remain in the middle. Like myself. So, that too. Additionally, defendants have failed to identify any statute, rule, or case law that prohibits counsel from seeking witnesses and information related to Plant's defamation case on social media. Yeah, very, very fair. I don't think any of those posts are unprofessional. And it's as good a way to try to find people as any. In fact, it might be the best way to find people. It might be the most professional thing to do when I really stop and think about it for half a second. How else would you drum up witnesses? Put out a call on Twitter and then work on the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing. I hope somebody knows somebody. I have no problem with this. I think it's totally fine. In fact, the Washington Rules of Professional Conduct expressly permit counsel to publicly discuss a case if statements will not have a substantial likelihood of material of prejudicing an adjudicative proceeding in the matter. So adjudicative is a big word for a matter of judgment, which is to say a substantive matter of the case. So you can discuss it as long as it won't prejudice, that was skew, as long as it won't skew something that is to be judged, which is substantive. So you can discuss the case otherwise, and Saltz seems to have done that exactly to my satisfaction. Specifically, counsel may state, among other things, a request for assistance in obtaining evidence and information necessary thereto, and a warning of danger concerning the behavior of a person involved when there's reason to believe that there exists a likelihood of substantial harm to an individual or the public interest. That's fair enough. Further, counsel may make a statement that a reasonable lawyer would believe is required to protect a client from substantial undue prejudicial effect of publicity not initiated by the lawyer or the lawyer's client. Fair. Mr. Saltz's inquiries and statements on Twitter related to this case are limited to seeking witnesses and information. Fair. warning of danger about the widespread hacking and harassment of witness, counsels, and parties. That seems true. And clarifying defendants' misrepresentations or statements made on social media after the complaint was filed. I agree with Saltz. That is a fair characterization of his tweets. None of Mr. Saltz's limited public statements have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing the matter. Agreed. If anything, Mr. Saltz has been trying to clarify defendants' unprovoked, prejudicial statements against plaintiffs. I'll let that one pass as to its relative truth value. Moreover, plaintiffs' counsel never publicly accused defendants of hacking or threatened defendant or defendant's counsel with criminal prosecution. We read exactly what he wrote, and I agreed with this at the time I wrote it. Right? He never accused the defendant. He never accused defendant's counsel. He said what we said. We read them. We analyzed them on stream. Plaintiffs' counsel actually informed Mr. Brown that widespread hacking of his personal social media and email accounts, as well as vicious online statements of witnesses and hacking of witnesses' social media and email accounts was occurring, and that a forensic expert had been engaged to track down the hackers who were making serious criminal threats. That seems to be completely true. Yeah, that is what happened. He did alert them and did say this is the steps we're taking, which seemed all completely proper. That's not a threat. It's not a threat. It's just a statement. Here is things that have been happening to us. Here are the steps that we are taking. That's not a threat. That's just here's what's happening now. And also, I'm giving you a courtesy of letting you know what's happening. Because strictly speaking, I probably don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you, but I'm letting you know, probably out of courtesy. So, I had no problem with this. Finally, while defendants have not formally requested a restraining order prohibiting defendant's counsel from exercising his First Amendment right, if this counsel considers a prior restraint against plaintiff's counsel, plaintiff respectfully requests a full briefing schedule. Additionally, if prior restraint is ordered, it must be applied against defendant and defendant's counsel. And I see that there's a super chat, and we'll get to the end of the super chats at the end of this document. Okay. Pursuant to Local Rule 7G, plaintiffs move to strike Mr. Brown's declaration in support of defendant's motion, as Mr. Brown's statements about referenced screenshots and emails are misleading or irrelevant. Really? For example, Mr. Brown's statement in paragraph 4 states, below is a screenshot from a video on a YouTube channel that Mr. Saltz has promoted on his Twitter account. However, the referenced screenshot fails to show that Mr. Saltz is promoting a YouTube channel. I agree. We read this at the time. It is a very uncharitable way to describe what Saltz did. And I've pointed out this before many, many, many times, and I'll point it out again. That both sides of this case, and both sides of like every case known to man, are trying to write things in the light that's most favorable to their side, including Saltz for that matter. So we read them and we say whether we agree or we disagree. And we've disagreed with Saltz and we've disagreed with Brown because both of them have gone beyond the limits of what is objectively reasonable. And it's not surprising that they have, because both are trying to. Now, they both push it, and the other side then calls them out on pushing it. So there's that, but it's completely expected. The screenshot is not even from Mr. Saltz's Twitter page. Instead, it's simply a screenshot of the YouTube channel at issue. Notably, the referenced screenshot captures the YouTube channel discussing defendant's motion to dismiss, which was filed and made publicly available on December the 2nd of 2020. In paragraph 5, Mr. Brown states, below are screenshots of just a few of tweets Mr. Saltz has promoted to publicly accuse Ms. Paulson of the crime of hacking. Nathan, the lawyer, says, I thought this was a motion to dismiss. This was a motion to dismiss long ago, my friend. Very long ago. The motion to dismiss has disappeared into the distance. I'm not even sure I can see it with my telescope anymore. Yeah. Instead, a screenshot shows Mr. Saltz recognized a familiar email address used in the hacking. Similarly, the next screenshot does not mention any names, nor does it contain any allegations against Ms. Paulson. The following three screenshots on pages 7 and 8 of the declaration also fail to mention any names or contain any accusations of hacking against Ms. Paulson. In paragraph 6, Mr. Brown states, attached as exhibits A through C, are true and correct copies of the emails Mr. Salt sent to me the morning accusing Ms. Paulson of federal crimes and demanding that I explain my involvement. First, Mr. Brown failed to provide the entire email chain between counsel to the court. Second, there's no evidence in the email chain of Mr. Salt's accusing Ms. Paulson of federal crimes. Instead, Mr. Salt's alerted Mr. Brown that one of the hackers stated on Twitter that he or she was hired by defendants to hack into Mr. Salt's email, which may or may not be true, right? These are just statements on Twitter. Anyone can say anything on Twitter. As we well know, you probably shouldn't take statements on Twitter at face value. Yeah, Twitter is a sad place. Mr. Saltz also requested that Mr. Brown take all steps to preserve any and all evidence so a full forensic evidence could be provided. Plaintiffs agree the court intervention is appropriate, but disagree it's due to the actions of plaintiff's counsel. Yeah, fair enough. And then we got some statements from some other people and, yeah, some signatures. That's super exciting. Great. All right. Give me 1 second. I need to do something real fast. I will be right back. I know you guys are thrilled, but I'll be right back, and then we'll read the super chats, and then we'll get on the next thing. Okay? Be right back. Okie doke. Yeah. All right, so let's do the next document in the series, which is 28 pages later, or 28 pages more. 28 days later, 28 pages more. And this is a declaration from Salt in requesting for the status conference. Okay, great. I'm admitted pro hoc vici. I'm familiar with the rules. I have a personal Twitter account that I've used to investigate the facts of this case and to obtain public assistance in the collection of evidence and information. To be certain, because a significant portion of the statements at issue in this case were published to a specific and specialized audience on Twitter, I've gone on Twitter to both collect evidence of said statements and identify potential witnesses and other information to help prove the evidence of the claims or better understand the evidence is being provided by us to hundreds of informants and potential witnesses. Yeah, right? So I don't see any problem with this at all. Yeah, people are following this case with bated breath for some reason, which I don't completely understand because, I mean, there's a lot of cases that are way more interesting than this, to be quite honest. As disturbing as this case is, and as disturbing as that reality is, I mean, there's a lot of ugliness in law. There's a lot of ugliness in law. And so, like, if you guys want tea and ugliness, you know, there's a lot of other things, but I guess the beauty drama helps. Not a lot of beauty drama ugliness. So maybe it's the juxtaposition of the beauty with the ugliness. Maybe that's the thing. That makes sense. Anyways, but yeah, there's a lot of people following this. So he's going on Twitter to an audience that wants to know what he has to say and be like, I'm looking for evidence. I'm looking for people who have things to offer. Maybe you're such a person or know such a person. Holla at me. Works for me. To the extent I have commented on this case on my Twitter account, it has been within the ambient of the rule. I agree. Some tweets have been specifically to respond to Ms. Paulson's numerous unprovoked prejudicial statements. For example, shortly after the complaint was filed, I was informed that Ms. Paulson had made an unprovoked prejudicial statement about this case on her YouTube channel that was directly contrary to a previous statement she made. In response, I tweeted, Okay, so the underlying statement, so I'll read this in the order it was written, I suppose. Without a crystal ball said, P.S. I was biased about Toddy because I've done months of research on this story and her husband is a damn fraud. You shouldn't want frauds in the community, my opinion. Okay. Mr. Salt said, I haven't seen it yet, but did KJ just do a live stream unprovoked by my clients where she talked about the case and said to the public she is not biased in reporting on my clients, in direct contradiction to her other posts saying that she was biased in reporting on my clients? Well, I suppose she could have been biased then and not biased at a different time. So, I guess depends on how much you believe that is possible, but I wasn't biased then, I am biased now, and also now I'm not biased anymore. So, And then someone said, you've been correctly informed. Yeah. Ms. Paulson blocked my Twitter account shortly after my clients filed their lawsuit. I'm not sure that's productive for Ms. Paulson, but okay. Otherwise, my tweets that are related to this case have been limited to the investigation of this matter in progress and requests for assistance in obtaining evidence. For example, aren't one's opinions inherently biased? I don't know if opinions are necessarily biased. No, I don't think so, because judges have to reach opinions, and judges aren't biased, or they shouldn't be. So, no, I don't think having an opinion means you're biased. You just come to the opinion neutrally. You come to the opinion, as it were, with the lady with the scales, and you come blindfolded. And ideally, you try to put the facts on the scales, and wherever they tilt, they tilt. So it's like, that's my opinion, the scales are tilted this way. So hopefully that's not biased in its result. So, no, I don't think opinions are necessarily inherently biased, no. Of course, that's my opinion, so you can determine whether or not that is in of itself biased. So, the meta. For example, we've been made aware of claims that many people have stopped supporting or buying from our clients because of Ms. Paulson. If you stopped watching Toddy's videos or avoided purchasing from Halo because of it, please share your story. This is fine. And then we have a whole bunch of responses to that, which we don't need to go through in detail. None of my public statements will have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing this case. It's my belief that defendants are, through these proceedings, attempting to inhibit our ability to perform our investigation of this matter and seek the public assistance in obtaining evidence and information on Twitter, because the amount of information and assistance we've been able to obtain thus far through Twitter has both extensive and extremely beneficial to plaintiffs obtaining information at witnesses that would be near impossible to find through other means. Works for me. Currently, Miss Paulson has 8,400 subscribers, and Saltz has 2,000 less. We saw that in the previous statement. So he said it himself that he had 2,000 less. So that means Saltz has roughly 6,500 subscribers, and he describes his own following as insubstantial. Or what did he use? The exact language doesn't matter, but he basically said, "Well, my following is insubstantial, but her following is substantial." I don't know, man. I'm not sure I'm buying that. In or about beginning on November of 2020, after filing of this lawsuit, I was monitoring Twitter and YouTube for information regarding defendants' activities on social media. Let's move this real fast. 879 of you are currently watching. Thank you. If I may be so bold to ask you to please give this a like if you've not done so already. For 879 of you who are watching, please remember to give it a like. It helps with the engagement. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and you can hit the join button, which Nightbot or Streamlabs should be reminding you about and from time to time, and you can click on that link and subscribe from there. Excellent. On or about November the 19th of 2020, while attending a mediation in Los Angeles, I noticed on my mobile phone that there had been an unauthorized attempt to access my Instagram account. Although I'd had an Instagram account for years, no one had ever previously, to my knowledge, tried to hack my Instagram. As such, I found the timing of the attempt hack to be too much of a coincidence, in that the first time a person attempted to hack into my account was around the same time that Miss Paulson's detractors' social media accounts were also purportedly under hacker. Yeah, I don't think that's coincidental. I think both sides of this case have their stands, and I think some of those stands have probably done things like trying to hack into accounts. Also, just random teens who are aware of the case, who aren't stands of either case, but because they're aware of the case, have decided to get involved because they're bored. So it might be stands of the sides or it might just be random people who, because other people are interested, are deciding to hack these accounts because that's kind of what they do. So yeah, that seems plausible. Yeah. If you want to join the channel from iOS, all you have to do is click the link from Streamlabs. In the notice that Streamlabs gives you about subscribing, there's a link at the end of that. If you click on that link, you can subscribe that way. That's why it's there. But thank you for the super chat. And I forgot to read the super chat, so I should probably do that now because I said I would and I forgot to do it. So that was my bad. I said I would read it after the last document, so let me do it now. Just go back to the beginning. From Germany, Jeremy Pace. Coming over from Nate's stream. Awesome. Thank you to have you here. Laura Jones became a new member. Vox Fugit. Appreciate you being on tops of this. Thank you. Jill Lawlander became a new member. Megan Gilbert became a new member. And $9.99 from Laura Jones. Thanks for staying, kick ass, and keeping us informed, Uncivil. Finally figured out how to join the channel for my iOS mobile. If others need it, open the desktop version of YouTube on your browser first. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. On or about January the 7th of 2021, I was alerted to a particular series of tweets from a Twitter account that I recognize as belonging to Miss Paulson. I learned that said tweet is a weird phrase to me. I'm not sure why, but that strikes my ear weird. Said tweet was part of a series of posting Miss Paulson was purportedly posing containing public statements about this lawsuit and containing particular threats and insults directed at myself and plaintiff's witnesses. Given the benefit of reviewing said tweets after recent events, it is my observation that one of those tweets appears to contain a possible admission by Miss Paulson that she is the benefactor of my law firm's email account potentially being hacked. Yeah, that's possible. The tweet in question states, email communications go both ways, trust me. Just like I'm being watched, so are you. We know everything. I'm not sure how to interpret that statement, but okay. On or about January the 7th of 2021, I personally viewed a video live stream of Miss Paulson on defendant Katie Joy's Live's YouTube channel titled The Worst Day Ever. In watching said video, I observed Miss Paulson tell her subscribers to go after her detractors to defend Miss Paulson and to let Miss Paulson know who the detractors are so she can put them on blast. They're not going to mess with you. We'll take care of it. Okay. I've obtained a download of said videos from defendant's YouTube channel without this live chat. Live chat is not subject to download from YouTube as part of the video. And placed it in a Dropbox for the court to view at a convenience at this link. Yeah, short of doing you would have to to get the chat on screen, you'd have to capture the entire window inside of like OBS or something and record it that way. But Salts may not know that. Specifically in this video, I observed Miss Paulson making the following statement, starting at timestamp 108:56. The vintage Katie is back. I'm not placating. I'm not going to pretend to be less me. I'm not going to listen to my YouTube manager and be like, you should do things that don't upset your audience. Dude, everything I do upsets my audience. Like, no. Well, are there topics you can avoid? Anyway, don't feel bad about defending me. Defend me. Go for it. Have fun. Like, don't you feel like just because you defend me, they can make an example out of you, because we'll make an example out of them. We will. We'll prove to everyone what they've been doing to you guys. Don't be quiet. Don't be shy. Speak your truth. I always used to say, like, don't feel like you have to defend me. But now I'm saying, like, if you're seeing this bullshit and you're compelled, you can defend me. You can. You can speak out against bullying. You can. You can tell the trolls to go away. You can tell them that they're not welcome. The reason why they are so invested here is because they feel like they can, and that you guys aren't going to respond because I've told you not to. And they've manipulated that, and they've pounced on that. So I just say, I have your back. You are not going to get harassed. And if you do, you just send me a DM and you tell me, and I'll put them on blast. They're not going to mess it with you. We'll take care of it. Well, that's not helping. Mr. Brown, I feel for Mr. Brown even more. Because Mr. Brown has a client who has gone well off the reservation. And that makes the lawyer's job just harder. It makes it harder and more frustrating. So I read this and my first thought is, man, I'm really sad for Mr. Brown. This sucks for him. That may not be your first reaction, but that's my first reaction. I think about the poor Michael Brown over here having to deal with this and having to think about this. Like, well, let me sink deeper into that bottle of scotch and let me see how that goes. Oh, man. On or about January the 16th of 2021, a massive and relentless harassment and hacking campaign were unleashed against Ms. Paulson's purported private detractors, YouTube creators that have been critical of Ms. Paulson, persons who have been publicly identified as witnesses, and informants against defendants and plaintiffs' counsel. There is way more intrigue in this case than is warranted. The amount of intrigue has outstripped the boundaries of this case. This case isn't that interesting. Man, a small portion of extent of said harassment and hacking campaign is more memorialized in the concurrent filed declaration of Natalie Kennett, which memorializes the harassment, intimidation, and death threats she's been receiving for being a witness for the plaintiffs in this case, as well as the intimidation, death threats, and harassment of other perceived detractors of Ms. Paulson that have been received publicly on Twitter. Yeah. On January the 16th of 2021, there were hacking attempts made on my Google and Twitter accounts. Below is a true and correct copy of my tweet memorializing the hacking attempt, which I posted in an attempt to ward off the other hacking attempts. Well, what do we have here? There appears to have been several hacking attempts today on my Google and Twitter accounts and possibly others. This is not the first time, and whoever it was used a familiar address in their efforts. We read that, we saw that before. And we saw this. Google has received a request to use this email address to help recover Google account. So what that means exactly, who knows, but fair. As shown in the Google verification code notice above, it states that my email address was being added as a recovery email address for Ms. Paulson's email account. This means that had the Google notice been legitimate, I would have been able to click that link and sign into Ms. Paulson's email account and archive all her emails. I'm not sure if that's what it means or not. However, because illegally hacking into a party's emails is something I will never do, I investigated the notice and determined that the Google notice was a fake phishing notice. Yeah, so it wasn't real. That makes sense. It wasn't a real notice. It was a phishing attempt. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So, yeah, we were all confused by this earlier because we saw this email address and like, is that Katie trying to hack? No, the notice just wasn't real at all. It was all fake. It was all just a phishing attempt. That makes sense. Okay. We've all been clarified. Okay, great. I determined that had I clicked on the link, my email account's credentials would have been hacked. My tweet above did not directly accuse of being the source of the hacking attempt. It wasn't a real notice from Google. That helps a lot. Now we have been all clarified. Okay, great. Fantastic. Now we understand. Starting on January 16th, I personally observed and documented the harassment and threats that were being made against Ms. Paulson's perceived detractors, including the death threats being made against me and my family and other YouTube creators. And I can attest to what happened on Twitter and elsewhere after Ms. Paulson's aforementioned statement is far more extensive and disturbing than what has been portrayed in Ms. Kennett's declaration. Yeah, you still don't get it? You still don't get it? Okay. Fair enough. So let's try and back this up. All right. So Mr. Saltz received a notice from Google that said that there was a different email that was trying to add their own email to his email as a recovery address. I think I got that right. So Google sent a notice that said, hey, a person from this email address is attempting to add their email address as a recovery address for your account. And if you don't know this, please click on this link and this will help clarify that. So what everyone initially assumed, right, because it looks right. So what everyone assumed initially is that the only way that this email could occur was that because you'd have to be logged into Without a Crystal Ball's account to send this email or get this done. So you would have to be signed into Without a Crystal Ball to be able to do this, which means it must be Without a Crystal Ball unless her account was also hacked, right? So that's what everyone assumed. But as it turned out, it was a deception. It wasn't really from Google at all. No, it was from some unknown third party who created an email that looked like an authentic email from Google. And the whole point was to get him to click on the link because he wouldn't recognize it. And if he clicked on the link, it would allow this person somehow to hack into Saltz's email account, right? So it was all a deception from some unknown party who was using a email that looked like it was from Google, but it wasn't really from Google, to try to gain access to Saltz's account. So now we have no idea who it was, and now we have no idea that it was Without a Crystal Ball. And actually, it makes sense even now that it's not Without a Crystal Ball. It makes it actually less likely in a lot of ways that it's Without a Crystal Ball. Because what would be really good bait? What would be really good bait? Right? Would it be better bait for it to be from some rando address, or would it be better bait to be Without a Crystal Ball's address? Probably would be better bait to be Without a Crystal Ball's address. So the hacker chose an email that presumably this hacker was hoping would cause Saltz to have a more emotional reaction and click on it without thinking, right? And then the hacker will get it. So that actually decreases the likelihood that it was Without a Crystal Ball, and rather someone just merely using her email address as part of the phishing attempt. Yeah. Okay, hopefully that explains a lot. By way of example and not limitation, in addition to the multitude of death threats against me I've received multiple times a day since January 16th of 2021. That explanation was very Princess Bride-like. Okay, noted. I'm not sure what that means, but noted. I've received multiple times to the present, in addition to the threats from hackers, to plant evidence in my email accounts as part of the plan to frame me as a pedophile. See screenshots attached to the declaration of Natalie Kennett disclosing this plan. The hackers have sent me very disturbing messages threatening to kill my witnesses and my children if I do not stop pursuing the case against Ms. Paulson. Well, that sucks ass. In one such instance, on or about January the 21st, the purported hackers created a Twitter account under the name of Hana233303, using an image of my younger daughter as their profile picture. Okay. The purported hackers then sent me a public message imitating that harm will come to my children if I do not leave Miss Paulson alone. Below is a true and correct copy of the Twitter screenshot I obtained of said posting. Is Hana the name of her daughter? He didn't actually say, but let's say Hana's the name of the daughter too, because that would make even more sense. Life is very lonely without a family. And what a beautiful family you have, a wife and two young, impressionable daughters. You, as a lawyer, are not untouchable. May I suggest you therefore leave Miss Paulson alone from this constant harassment before any harm will come to you. Well, yeah, no, that's definitely blackmail. Yeah, that's a threat. That's the nice business if you have here. Would be a shame if anything happened to it. Yeah, we can read. What is the threat? Well, we can identify the threat in that one. Yeah. Shortly after the tweet was sent threatening harm to my children, I received a private direct message on my Twitter account from the aforementioned Hannah account that said my family will face consequences if I remain on the case. Below is a true and correct copy of a Twitter screenshot I obtained of this message. From Hannah, you have 24 hours to render yourself not the opposing counsel, or your family will face the consequences of your action and behavior. Don't make me regret giving you this chance. We have seen your emails and know all witnesses' names, addresses, emails, and numbers. It's not in your best interest, Mr. Sauls, to take the case any further. Ms. Paulson has requested that as of 8:51 a.m. you have 24 hours. Ugh. Woof. Ugh. That's... Ugh. I told you guys the law gets ugly. Welcome to the ugliness part of the law. From January the 16th of 2021 through the filing of this declaration, I received information from mobile YouTube channel creators that publish commentary videos on YouTube. Specifically, I've been informed that a significant number of YouTube channel creators have published videos critical of Ms. Paulson have, since the 16th to present, have their social media accounts hacked, have been recipients of significant number of hacking attempts into their social media, have received harassing emails, have received death threats, and or have had their non-offensive content mass flagged on YouTube and or Instagram. Yeah. I know Emily say it's not uncommon for stuff to happen like this in criminal. Does this sort of stuff happen surrounding civil? Yes, it does. Civil cases can be in many ways more ugly than criminal cases. So this is pretty rare for this to happen, but it happens. I think it's probably pretty rare in criminal cases. I don't know if the death threats thing is more common in criminal cases. It might be more common in criminal cases, the death threat thing. I don't know. But ugliness in general, yeah, there's a lot of ugliness in civil side of law. There is a reason my channel is called Uncivil Law. Specifically on January 12th of 2021, I witnessed a person that will identify as Miss S for her own protection participate in a live chat during a live stream as a paid member of defendants Katie Joy's Live's YouTube channel. During the video, Miss Paulson asked if anyone has ever taken their child to a trauma center. Miss S answered that she had. This caused individuals in the chat to ask Miss S if her child got better. Miss S responded that her daughter died at age 10 from cancer. Well, that sucks. Miss Paulson saw that the live chat's attention had shifted from her to Miss S, with people giving Miss S their condolences. Mr. Paulson therefore became visibly angry and called out Miss S for taking the attention of viewers away from Miss Paulson telling her story. That's kind of ugly. That's a little bit selfish. It's like I'm upset that attention's being taken away from me by the person who lost their child to cancer. Yeah. Thereafter, Miss S published certain Twitter posts about the experience and that, as a Washington resident, canceled her paid membership to the channel. Below are true and correct copies of the screenshots I obtained of Miss S tweets stating that she canceled her membership that had been providing Miss Paulson's income. Thank you. I'm so happy I'm unsubscribed to both of her channels. I was a paid sub from Washington until that day. I should remind her if that. On or about January the 16th of 2021, I observed the purported hackers targeting, harassing, and bullying Miss Miss Ebb by subtweeting under Miss S tribute to her daughter's memory that Miss S should get over it. Oof. Oof. Okay, so here are some screenshots I obtained from S. This is my daughter, the one who you called me out for when I was showing you empathy about what you've been through. Hug your son, celebrate that he's still there. To which Chloe responded, poor you, Katie wasn't even calling you out. For fuck's sake, she apologized. Can't you just get over it? Well, okay. And then so I guess it's a little unclear what the hacker's asking to get over exactly. Because it seems like the hacker isn't saying get over the death of your child. It seems like the hacker is saying, or the purported hacker or whatever, it seems like this purported fictional might be hacker, might not even be a real person, was saying, you should get over the fact that Katie said bad things about you, not over the death of your child. So we'll give the purported hacker wannabe a break, I guess. because of what they were saying that you should get over. Oh yeah. Yeah, so Mr. Saltz takes the less charitable view of what this tweet means by saying that Miss S should get over it in response to this daughter's memory. So making an implication there. But we'll be charitable and we'll read what is written and see what it actually says. So, yeah, good. As a direct result of such public displays of targeted harassment, threats, and hacking of Ms. Paulson's detractors and critics, I received multiple messages from witnesses that have previously agreed to cooperate and or testify in these proceedings, stating that they are now too scared to do so because they don't want to be targets to the hackers. On January 18th of 2021, I began to receive direct messages from at least one of the purported hackers, maybe possible poser hacker, whatever, who disclosed that Ms. Paulson's directed her to harass and hack my accounts may not exist, as well as our other witnesses' account. Below is a true and correct copy. She's also got 2 other Gmail accounts and 24 Twitter accounts. That's a lot of Twitter accounts, man. Undercovering hypocrisy said, I'm missing some context and backstory as to what Katie said to that woman. Yes, I am. Because, as always, I'm going off the legal filings. I can rely on what the legal filings tell me, because that's exactly what the judge is going to do. The judge is absolutely, positively not going to get into the deep weeds of this, because this is all very, very tangential, and might I be so bold as to say irrelevant to the matter at hand. It is irrelevant legally. It doesn't matter legally. Now, I know it matters to a lot of you guys, because a lot of you guys have emotional reactions, and I don't begrudge your emotional reactions. I have emotional reactions to things too. I get upset by things too. I'm a human being. I get upset, and I get illogical, and I get emotional, and I get I do the same things that you guys do. Really, I do. I promise. But in this particular context, I'm not. Specifically because I'm not looking at it. I'm just going on the file and doing what they're telling me, so I can remain as objective as an uncivil law knows how to be. I'm gonna be neutral, damn it. I'm gonna be neutral. You will not suck me into this. I will not watch these videos. I will not look for broader context. I'm just gonna stick with the legal filings like a judge. So deal. Excellent. There's as much passion as you get from me today. From Penny. I'm sorry KJ had me and many use a certain IP address to sign into so this wouldn't come up back to her. She also gave us emails and passwords so we can proof, but not on here. Please accept my apologies. And from Penny, this is not true. KJ gave others information and told them what to do. Another account just tried to come forward before she regained the account to make up she'd been the victim. This evening, I'll be taking all necessary screenshots and sending them to the relevant agencies. Okay, fine. Yeah, Annie says, turn it into a drama channel. No, screw you guys. No, I'm not doing the drama channel thing. No, screw you guys. Out of concern for the safety and well-being of our witness, at 8:21 on January the 18th, don't you guys have enough drama channels? Do you really need one more? I emailed Mr. Brown to advise him of the intimidation of our witnesses and massive hacking of the accounts of individuals related to this case. I requested a telephone call with Mr. Brown to discuss the situation. Mr. Brown never responded to my request for a call. A copy of my first email is attached to this. I exchanged several emails with Mr. Brown. Attached as Exhibit 1 is a true and correct copy of all the emails exchanged. No attempt was made by Mr. Brown to substantively discuss this matter prior to filing a defendant's request for a status conference. I received notification at 5:53 p.m. that defendants had requested a status conference. Attached as Exhibit 2 is a true and correct copy of the notice of electronic filing. I know. I don't know what some of these things mean, man. They're not clear. It's fine. Katie is not going to end up in jail over this case. That's not going to happen. Sorry, Lulu Bell. That's almost certainly not going to happen. In response to these hacking attempts, incessant, unless she actually directed the harassment, unless she actually hacked, because you can encourage illegal contact, and you can encourage illegal contract. Apologize. Let's try again. You can encourage illegal conduct in the broad, right? You can go watch Uncivil. Apologize, not Uncivil Laws. That's me. You can go watch Legal Eagles. He had a short on this, like yesterday, about, or maybe it was part of a longer video, but whatever. I think it might have been part of a longer video in dealing with what is sedition and what is not. So you can encourage in the app. You can encourage illegal conduct. You can encourage it in the broad. You can encourage people to do illegal things in the broad. What you can't do is like encourage a specific person or give them aid or give them specifically aid. But you can say things like it would be good if someone would have. This is what Donald Trump said, remember, as part of his campaign. I'm sure if you guys can remember, like 5 years ago, he was saying this about Russia, right? So Donald Trump was basically doing the same thing. It would be good if Russia could hack the accounts of Hillary Clinton or the servers and make them publicly available. It was the same thing Donald Trump was saying. And it's the same thing that Katie is saying. It would be good if someone could hack these emails and hack these accounts and provide them. That would be nice. In both Donald Trump's case and Katie's case, those are legal. You can encourage people in the broad to do illegal things. There you go. You can't do it to a specific person. You can't encourage a specific person or specific people, like a specific small group of people. But to the public at large, sure, that's legal. You can do that. Great. In response to the hacking attempts, incessant emails, and threats to me and my family, I contacted Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Los Angeles Police Department and informed them of the events. We're now working with authorities to pursue investigations into this matter. We've also initiated an investigation into the source and extent of said hacking attempts with our computer efforts. However, due to the shortened briefing schedule issued by the court, our computer experts were unable to finish their extensive investigation in time to file a report. Nevertheless, we expect to have our computer experts finish their investigation by the end of the week and have a report so we can provide it at the status conference. By the way, I did send another email to the court yesterday night asking for permission to attend the hearing, because this hearing could get really, really interesting depending on exactly what the court does or does not do. So I sent another email to the court yesterday. I haven't heard back. If I don't hear back by tomorrow, I will call the court, which is always an awkward conversation, but I'll do it for you guys anyway, because I love you guys so much. As soon as a direct result of the hacking attempts, harassment, and threats issued to myself and co-counsel in this matter, or I guess I could just tweet at Michael Saltz and ask him if he can help me on this. I might do that too. I might tweet at Michael Saltz and see if he wants to help me get access to this hearing. Why not? What the hell? As a direct result of the hacking attempts, harassment, and threats issued to myself and my co-counsel, our firm has incurred significant expense in both physical and cybersecurity measures. I'm not sure Saltz necessarily wants it to be public, though. So I'm not sure if contacting him is a good idea or a bad idea. I declare under the penalty of perjury that a whole bunch of things are true. Okay, great. So I'm largely have no problem with this. Okay, so now I have to give fair notice out of courtesy. I guess I don't have to, but I'm going to do it anyway. Out of courtesy to one of my fellow lawyers, I have to point out, or I'm going to point out, that Emily D. Baker, we know her, we love her. She's about to go live in 5 minutes with exactly this stuff. Now, normally, I do try to avoid scheduling things at the same time as another YouTube lawyer, but of course that's not always possible because I have my own schedule. So this was the only time I could do this. So it was obviously not out of disrespect. Also, why I'm making this notice. So I'm sorry to the chat, but I guess you're going to have to choose which you like more. Now, I'd point out that, of course, you can watch hers on replay, or you can watch mine on replay, so you can always come back to it. But, just to let you know, Emily D. Baker's about to go live in 5 minutes, and she's going to be doing a lot of y'all. This is red letter fuckery. We need. Here's what I think she's going to say. We need a new color. red isn't enough. We need new colors other than red, y'all. This is this this is this is this is top level fuckery. Something like that. Okay, great. Let's press on. I love Emily. She's great. All right, so let's respond to Elena Levine. Yeah. Y'all. All right, Elena Levine. And Elena Levine is also an attorney. Great, who's in this case, and senior counsel for SALTs. So, senior counsel, that can mean a whole bunch of different things. But whatever, we're not going to get into that right now. Faith gives me $20. Thank you, Faith. That's nice of you. Thank you. I tell you what, if you guys stay, maybe I'll give you some Halo Beauty ads. But only if you stay. How about that? Ooh, bribes. There's 1,123 of you watching. Thank you. For 1,123 of you watching, please remember to like the video. Please remember to subscribe. Please subscribe. I want to grow. I'm not beyond begging. Seriously, I will beg. Please subscribe. I'm begging you. Subscribe. I want this channel to grow. I want this to be my full-time job. That would be great. Please subscribe. Do it now. Please. You enjoy me reading? I enjoy you subscribing. A little reciprocal exchange here, a little reciprocity. I'm giving you all this wonderful content. You give me a subscription, a little bit of quid pro quo, maybe just a little bit of balancing out the exchange. That'd be great. All right, great. This case arose out of defendant's publication of false statements in articles on Pathos, over 80 videos of YouTube and Instagram, and hundreds of social media postings. Will I dance? For enough subs, man, I probably will do just about anything that's legal. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the super chats. There was a super chat. Yeah. I'll read a couple super chats. Melissa Rigert became a member. It doesn't. Paulo Grego says it doesn't make sense the hacking attempts being from random trolls. Look at the reactions from KJ and the lawyer. Salt even gave him a heads up. It makes sense for it to be from random. Well, it might make. And your point is valid, but it might be from stands of KJ or whatever. But yeah, it could be from a lot of different people. So, but fair. $5 from Amanda Heimbog, who says you don't have to be a drama channel, but you're famous for your Halo commercials and hitting your head on the wall. And then 4 hearts. Thank you. Amanda Hindenburg became a member. Thank you. Faith T gave me $20. Jenna in Stitches gave me 50 Norwegian krona. Christina Wesk said, we'll stay and finish your stream and then watch Emily's reply for the extra large cup of tea. And Brenda Lee Carpenter became a member. Hey, Brenda Lee Carpenter. I'm glad you finally became a member. I recognize your name from around the webs. It's awesome. Thank you for being here, Brenda Lee Carpenter. I feel honored. And Brenda Lee Carpenter says, there, I've never joined a channel before, but I did it for you, Kurt. Thank you, Brenda Lee. That's very kind. Got any bourbon recommendations? Oh, sure, yeah. No, yeah. We can drink some bourbon now. I think we need some bourbon time. Do you think it's 11 o'clock somewhere? That's how the song goes, right? It's 11 a.m. somewhere. That's the song, right? Great. Let's get some bourbon. Let's do that. Hold on. Excellent. All right. So, as always, we will be drinking this one that I like quite a lot. Blackland, Texas Pecan, Brown Sugar Bourbon. Excellent. Very good. And because the bottle is getting low, in case that runs out, we've got number 2. Screwball, Peanut Butter Whiskey with real peanuts. Fantastic. Great. Let's pour ourselves a drink and lament the fall of Rome. Great. Fantastic. Let's press on. This case arose out of defendant's publication of false statements and articles on Pathos, over 80 videos on YouTube and Instagram, and hundreds of social media postings maligning Toddy and James Westbrook and their business Halo Beauty. One of defendant's false statements was that the court documents established that plaintiff James Westbrook has removed his mother from oxygen to cause her untimely death for inheritance purposes when no court documents actually contain such allegations. I'm not sure which of those are fact and which of those are opinions, but, we can analyze that. Additionally, defendants have made numerous other damaging statements about plans purportedly based on pleadings in other litigation that are simply not said in pleadings. Do I want to be a judge someday? That'd be great, man. Make me a federal judge. Trump didn't make me a federal judge. That was very sad for me. But yeah, Biden is out there. Please make me a federal judge. I know I'm conservative, so you probably don't want me. But I'd be a really, really good federal judge. I promise. Well. Defendants have made numerous other statements about plans purportedly based on pleadings and other litigation simply are not pleadings. A number of these false statements have been identified in the complaint filed in this case on October the 30th. Since filing this case on October the 30th of 2020, defendants have attempted to divert public attention to their attorneys and have been making numerous public comments about the case for the purpose of creating prejudice to the plaintiffs, who have yet to make single comment about the case. Because they listened to their attorney. Attached is Exhibit 1, attached is Exhibit 2, blah, blah, blah. On January the 7th, I observed a defendant Twitter account stating, email communications go both ways, trust me. Just like I'm being watched, so are you. We know everything. This tweet, coupled with defendant's other social media publications concerning this case, led me to perceive this tweet to mean defendants were implying they either had access to my firm's email and or my client's emails. Both are true and correct copies of screenshots. Or it's just like random, musings. You probably shouldn't take things on Twitter super seriously. On January the 16th, 2021, Michael Saltz, counsel for plaintiffs and my partner at my firm, tweeted that someone attempted to gain entry to his Google and Twitter accounts. In no time did he publicly accuse Ms. Paulson or any other. Why are we saying this? Didn't Saltz already say this? This is repetitive. Why are we saying this? I don't understand. Approximately an hour later, on or about January the 7th, defendants tweeted that they too had been victims of a hacking attempt. Defendants include screenshots that demonstrate their purported hacking attempt to be what they're referring. However, screenshots show defendant's email was not actually being hacked, but rather defendant's email address was being used to set up a recovery email address for Natalie Kennett's email account and order and receive an archive of Ms. Kennett's email. As such, rather than putting forth evidence of being hacked, Ms. Paulson actually put forward evidence that she was receiving the benefit and bounty of our witness being hacked. Below is a true and correct copy of her thing. Okay. I don't know. Giggle Spice Clover Dan says, I don't understand what this has to do with the case at all. Giggle Spice, man, we have long since forgotten about, not only have we long since forgotten about the motion to dismiss, we've long since forgotten about relevancy. Relevancy is but a shadow forgotten. Cheers. That Texas pecan brown sugar is really good. Recommend it. It's hard to find. I don't think you can get it outside of Texas, which is very sad for the rest of you. But on January the 18th of 2021, counsel for defendants Michael Brown sent an unsolicited email to plaintiff's counsel, including myself, stating that there were fake complaints regarding Mr. Saltz that was posted on FindLaw, claiming that Mr. Saltz was harassing Ms. Paulson as a witness. This is more convoluted than a Phoenix Wright case. Yeah. I reviewed a phone number of provided on the fake FindLaw complaint and discovered that the phone number listed is actually a number associated with Without a Crystal Ball in Minnesota and or Miss Paulson and or Todd Paulson. On January the 18th, I observed several tweets directed at plaintiff's counsel, some of which were included. You're not pronouncing pecan correctly? Pecan then. Mr. Saltz brought the above tweet to Mr. Brown's attention, but he's unresponsive. Moreover, Mr. Brown left this portion of counsel's email chain out of the exhibits he presented to this court when he filed his papers requesting a status conference. I reviewed Mr. Brown's declaration submitted to court in conjunction with defendant's motion for status conference. It'd be too crowded on Emily's. That's probably very true, yeah. I did lose about 300 people watching the stream. So we're down to 791. So I lost 300 people. Probably by announcing it. But, you know, it seemed like the right thing to do. I reviewed Mr. Brown's declaration submitted to the court in conjunction with the status conference. Mr. Brown's declaration made several incorrect and or misleading statements, including but not limited to the following. Mr. Brown stated, below is a screenshot from a video on a YouTube channel that Mr. Saltz has promoted on his Twitter account. However, the screenshot reference does not constitute evidence of a video promoted by Mr. Saltz. Why are you saying this? Why didn't we just read this? What is the point of this? What's the point of this declaration? Additionally, I've conducted a comprehensive search of Mr. Saltz. Has promoted this. Okay, whatever. Mr. Brown stated, below are screenshots of just a few of the tweets Mr. Saltz has posted to publicly accuse Ms. Paulson of the crime of hacking. Brown, in the screenshot directly below the statement, Mr. Saltz is not publicly accused of anyone of hacking. Emily isn't live yet. Still, I've lost 300 people to her chat. That's nice. Oh, there she is. There she is. There's an Emily. A wild Emily appears. Let's just listen to this for a second. One second. Just get her started.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all of it. I'm going to get into that a bit more as we go through each declaration that's been filed. We are talking about the Toddy Westbrook defamation lawsuit that has gone off the rails. It's like a train off the rails into a dumpster fire in a crater from an asteroid. We are at FFS level DEFCON red. What the fuckery? It's just a whole lot today. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a breakdown of the case with kind of how we got up to here just really quickly. I have a lot of videos on that, so we'll do that fast. And then we're going to break down these new documents that were filed last night. And we're going to talk about why this shit should never be happening in any kind of legal case, in a civil case or otherwise. My thoughts on the criminality of what's afoot and why this kind of shit is not okay. So we need to just get into it. Hi there.
All right, that's enough of that. But I just want to hear her little introduction. And I have to point out, for those of you who weren't watching it, Emily looks really sad. I don't know if sad is quite the right word, but she looks, I don't know, what would be the distressed maybe? She looks very, I'm going to go with sad. I don't know a better way to describe it. So maybe you can come up with your own adjective there, but it's not like crying, but like sad as in, I don't know, like the life has been taken out of her or something. I don't know. But yeah, Emily, what the fuck, Rick? You gotta love Emily sometimes. Great. Let's press on. In a screenshot directly below the statement, Mr. Saltz does not publicly accuse anyone of hacking. Instead, the screenshot specifically states that's directed at whomever attempted the hacking using a familiar email address. That's completely true. Yeah. The two screenshots on page 7 of Mr. Brown's declaration do not accuse Mr. Paulson of hacking. Actually, the idea for an Emily Uncivil after show sounds really good. I don't know what Emily's schedule is like, but if Emily's open to that, then I'm open to that. So yeah, if she wants to do an after show, that's cool because yeah, so maybe you guys can suggest that on her chat or something. I don't know. And she can contact me on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and we can go from there. Great. Okay. To be certain, the purported hackers admit and tweet the next day the God is Great account on Mr. Saltz was confronting belonged to them. Below is a true and correct copy of the tweet. Penny, my account. Yeah, frustrated. Yeah, frustrated might be better than sad. I don't know. My account, Chloe's account, God is Great account are all KJ's. She has many more accounts with real people behind them, but they are here sock emails. She is someone called Jessie that can place anyone as specific IP address. Attached is Exhibit A through C. My co-counsel and I have not made any idle threats of criminal prosecution or to gain advantage. That's fair. Instead, Mr. Salt informed Mr. Brown that we had a forensic expert working to track down the hackers. We're making death threats to counsel and witnesses, which are serious crimes. Specifically, Mr. Salt stated, we are in the process of providing all this information to federal authorities. I'll be pressing charges once we determine all were involved in the hacking attempts and witness tampering. No, I'm not going to send her I'm not going to send her a message in the middle of live streaming. No, that's out of respect to her, not anything else. And no fault did Mr. Saltz assert that Miss Paulson and Brown were identified. On January the 20th, Mr. Brown sent another email indicating Miss Paulson received a purported notice from Google of another attacking attempt through her email address that was not done by defendants. Mr. Saltz, having recognized the email Miss Paulson was received, immediately requested a raw email instead of a screenshot, and it's attached. I don't know. I don't understand what the purpose of this declaration is. I don't get it. Because this seems extremely repetitive from what Brown says. So what's the point of this? Apologies, not what Brown said. Excuse me. What Salt said. So this seems extremely repetitive. So what's the point of this declaration? I don't get it. And then we have some declaration exhibits about the sampling of social media posts. So, okay, and we don't need to read all that, but social media stuff and samplings of videos, documenting all that, which means that someone actually watched all those videos. Holy God. So that's a lot of legal time. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's precisely the point. Because Saltz probably didn't view these videos. But I'm not sure how much cheaper. So like the idea of like an associate doing this because they'd be cheaper and then filing out the declaration to save the client money makes sense. But this is a senior partner. Now, the word senior here could mean two different things. But maybe it's to save money? Or maybe it's just because of time? I don't know. But we got a whole bunch of social media statements, which we don't need to read in detail. Then we got an email from Brown. No, apologize, from Saltz to Brown. Email is most likely not genuine. Do not click any links. I know it's off screen, but I'm going to read it this way anyway. Doing so will likely download spyware into a computer device. My email is not a Google email. Further, I have yet to see any corresponding alert from Google on my end. Please forward the raw email to us so that we have our forensic expert track the email tracking code to verify its origin. Seems perfectly fine to me. And then we got this, Katie did not do this. The attempt to attach her email to other accounts without her knowledge and permission has continued. Michael Brown. This is from Michael Brown back to Saltz. Katie did not do this. The attempts to attach her email to other accounts without her knowledge and permission has continued. So, fair. So they're corresponding. All right, great. All right, so that's that declaration. So, okay, whatever. All right, so let's move on to number 3, which is 78 pages long. the one that we're really here for. My friends, when you're faced with such ugliness from cases such as this, and you're just faced with the ugliness and you have to confront that ugliness, it can be really trying. And I figure, in these kinds of situations, we really need to look for the good, to try to remind ourselves that there's some good in the world and the beauty that's found in the everyday. And if you want to bring out that beauty, might I recommend Halo Beauty. Halo Beauty, there to help you feel beautiful when the world feels ugly. Yeah. Okay, so now we have a declaration from Natalie Kennett from the United Kingdom. We're bringing the UK into this. Angel's Envy is pretty good. I recommend. Yeah, Angel's Envy is solid. I agree. I found Miss Paulson years ago because she was producing content covering someone named Micah Stauffer. Until very recently, I followed Miss Paulson on social media, including Twitter and Instagram. I also followed Miss Paulson on her Without a Crystal Ball Facebook page. I actually consider myself a big fan of Miss Paulson and watch her content regularly and multiple times a day. Though I generally know how to use social media, I'm not very good with technology. I do not own a computer or an iPad. The only form of electronic communication that I own is a mobile phone. Well, that's true for quite a lot of people in the world, to be quite honest. I have a television, but it took me 8 months to learn how to use it on my own. To use a television? I am autistic and suffer from several mental health disorders, including anxiety and depression. Though I live independently, I need assistance from family members to cook my meals due to my anxiety and fear of learning how to use machine and technological gadgets. As such, I call my mother as I'm cooking so that she can walk me through the cooking process. Oof, sounds rough. I'm already sad. Because I'm an avid viewer of Miss Paulson's content around her platforms, I personally observed Miss Paulson directly discussing this lawsuit on numerous occasions on both YouTube and Instagram. It's my understanding that there's an order in place in which Ms. Paulson has been ordered not to delete content on social media that's relevant to this lawsuit. I observed that while Ms. Paulson used to save her Instagram live videos prior to filing, she stopped saving her Instagram live videos after this lawsuit was filed. I recall her saying in one of her live videos that she had to delete them because of the lawsuit. She had to delete them because of her safety. On or about January 15, I watched Miss Paulson do a live video on her YouTube channel, and then later switch over to her Instagram account to chat and comments below the video. Miss Paulson stated that she had to delete things about Toddy Westbrook so she would not be charged. I then saw Miss Paulson delete an email from another viewer that I believe concerned this case. I also saw a person named Jessica, last name redacted for privacy, to comment to Miss Paulson that she just saw her admitting deleting things about Toddy Westbrook. Below is a true and correct copy of the screenshots. Without a Crystal Ball says I had to delete videos I made about Toddy so I don't face charges. Jessica says, you know, even when you delete stuff, someone somewhere will have a screenshot. Admitting to deleting stuff is not the best idea right now when hundreds of thousands of people can see it. And don't delete my comments, I'm only looking out for you. It would potentially violate the court's order. That's, well, no. Yeah, probably. Admitting to deleting stuff about Toddy is not in your best interest when hundreds of thousands of people are watching you just to see if you F up, and Salsi is actively encouraging everyone with evidence to come forward. You're doing yourself zero favors. That's, actually decent legal advice. Yeah. Below, because I was an avid supporter of Miss Paulson, I wanted to warn Miss Paulson that the above comments were publicly visible and they could potentially be detrimental to her case. Because I knew people were publicly sharing with Plants Counsel potential evidence of Miss Paulson violating this court's order not to delete relevant evidence. I took screenshots of the above interactions and sent them on Twitter to what I thought was Miss Paulson's Twitter account, and then typed "without a crystal ball official." However, I'm relatively new to Twitter and meant to send this as a private message. I did not realize until later I sent it publicly. I also did not know that using it at the time that pound instead of at does not deliver the message directly to Miss Paulson on Twitter. Below are true and correct copies of the screenshots. From Nat. I just read Jessica's comments on your Insta post about you telling people you delete stuff regarding Toddy and that someone went down on your live tonight. Please, for your own sake, come off social media. Don't rehash or repeat. People are rooting to see you fail. This is pretty decent advice. And Katie, this is in response to Katie Joy writing, I will never understand how anyone can support Jeffree Star or his makeup. He's petty, mean, racist, and not inclusive. He's drunk on money and power. He doesn't give a shit about followers or friends. Yeah, I don't understand how anyone can give a shit about Jeffree Star's makeup because the real makeup is from Halo Beauty. Halo Beauty. There when you want to bring out the Jeffree Star within? Okay. From that, I removed her second name because it's unfair, but it's all on Katie's Instagram page. I removed my Insta page as I'm a private person, and then we see some various tweets and whatever. Immediately after posting these tweets on Twitter, I was grossly harassed and threatened by a person or people using two specific Twitter accounts. Specifically, the person or people behind these two specific accounts took to Twitter as to proclaim ardent supporters of Miss Paulson, and in a coordinate manner publicly went after me and threatened me, and publicly went and threatened to kill those people that attempted to defend me. Attached is an exhibit of the stuff. On January 16th, I received direct messages from Twitter from the Phoenix account threatening me and harassing me. Specifically, these messages would state that they would rain shit on my ass. I don't know why I find that particularly amusing, but I don't know why I found that particularly funny, but, you know. And they have hundreds of, if thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, and not ready to mess with people bigger than me. The messages state KJ deleted her stuff, but she didn't know it was illegal. And you need to delete your post now or you'll get doxxed. The messages then explain that doxing means we can find out where you live, your house number, social security, your schools, your family, phone numbers, life history, medical, any reports you've made, everything, and post it here and tango you, so you best effing listen and remove all your stuff about KJ and me now. Yeah. Oh, Halo Beauty is the vitamins? I thought they had a different name than Halo. What did I think they were called, the vitamins? I don't know, but I thought the vitamins had a different name than Halo Beauty. Okay. Okay, told you if you share, you didn't delete that SSU effing idiot. And then apparently proceed to provide all kinds of crap. No, I thought it had a different name than Halo. It wasn't Halo vitamins. I thought it was something else completely. Does Toddy have some other brand name for something? Because I thought they had a different brand name. It wasn't Halo vitamins. It was something else vitamins. Can't remember. I received direct messages on Twitter from Chloe threatening me. Specifically, the message said, "You dead blank, you here dead. I'm going to dox you now," with 2 X's. Below are true and correct copies of screenshots of direct messages I received. Yeah. In response to all the threats, I received private messages to Miss Paulson on Instagram. Okay, fair enough. Well, Toddy Beauty then. We'll call it Toddy Beauty from now on to get the ad right. Sorry. From now on, we'll call it Toddy Beauty to get the ad right. Sorry about that. The brown sugar burden is awesome. Yeah, fair enough. We'll call it Toddy. We'll call it Toddy Beauty from now on. That's fine. I want to make sure to get the ad, not an ad, correct. Yeah, sorry about that. I get it. I get it. Got it. Great. Thanks. In response to all those threats, I received if you guys can figure out what I thought the vitamins were called, then that'd be good. But yeah, fair. I sent a private message to Miss Paulson on Instagram. I begged Miss Paulson to call out all the accounts of me, threatening me and doxing me. I told Miss Paulson about the doxing of her personal information. It was all because I tried to warn her about comments from her Instagram account about deleting evidence, and it seemed to me a lot of people were watching and taking screenshots. Miss Paulson responded to me by saying, I don't tell anyone to do anything, period. Miss Paulson then threatened me. No, not Sugar Bear. Yeah. Don't delete anyone. Don't tell anyone to delete anything or I'll sue you. I explained to Miss Paulson that the accounts harassing me claimed to be her followers, and I begged her to make a post asking her followers not to attack or threaten people, which is, probably a good thing to do. I also explained to Miss Paulson that I'm autistic and cannot cope with the stress of harassment. Miss Paulson then denied having to do anything with the attacks and stopped messaging with me. Fair enough. Kiwi. Yeah, that sounds right. Kiwi, that sounds right. Yeah. I think that's right, Kiwi. I thought the entire vitamin line was called Kiwi, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. Kiwi, that sounds right. Yeah, so I thought the entire vitamin line was called Kiwi. So, missed that memo. Oops. Yeah. Because I was an avid viewer of almost all Miss Paulson's videos, I knew she was not being honest with me about her statements. That she did not tell anyone to go after me, and that she does not tell anyone to do anything. Kiwi vitamins are her best sellers. Kiwi is one of the type of Halo vitamins. See, that's where, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So I thought, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. I thought Kiwi was the name of the entire vitamin line. So I thought it was Kiwi vitamins and Halo Beauty. So that's, yeah. So it's Toddy Beauty and Halo Vitamins. And Halo Vitamins sells Kiwi. But it's not the name for the entire company or the entire line. Okay. Mystery has been revealed. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Great. So, yeah, I thought Kiwi was the entire name for the entire vitamin line. Okay, fantastic. So, Toddy Beauty, not Halo Beauty. Kiwi vitamins. Great. Because I was an avid viewer of almost all Miss Paulson's videos, I knew she was not being honest with me about her statements to not tell anyone to go after me, and she doesn't tell anyone to do anything, period. Specifically, on or about January the 7th, about a week before the attack. The only reason I'm upset at this point is because at this point I've done quite a few Halo Beauty ads, and no one I don't think has corrected me before. You guys have let me down a whole bunch of Halo Beauty ads without correcting me. So, just saying, you guys fell down on that one. I've rewatched the video to make sure I heard what she said correctly, and that I did not take Miss Paulson's statements out of context. Below is exactly what she said at the video at the 68 minutes, 57 minute mark. Toddy Beauty is the makeup. Halo is all the vitamins with Kiwi, Body Brain Booster, and original Halo. Good. Because it's hilarious. Yeah. So I guess that proves how much it's not an ad. I guess that proves two things. It proves, one, how much not an ad it is, and two, that I definitely am not neck deep into all the Teddy Westbrook without Chris Ball stuff. Because presumably anyone who watches these videos and is neck deep in the drama would know this. So I guess it proves just how much I'm not that. So further evidence of my objectivity because I didn't know that. So yay. The Yeah, vintage Katie is back. I'm not placating. I'm not going to pretend to be less me. I'm not going to listen to my YouTube manager and be like, you should do things that don't upset your audience. Dude, everything I do upsets my audience. Like, no. What are the topics you can avoid? We read all this. We read all this before from Saltz's thing. Since the attacks began, the video has been deleted from Miss Paulson's YouTube channel because, of course, it is. Yeah. All you guys are bad followers of my channel. Not correcting me earlier. Bad followers. On or about January the 16th, when vicious attacks began, I reached out to plaintiff's attorney Michael Saltz at approximately 9:15 a.m. and informed him of everything that was happening and provided him with all the evidence I had to that point. I agreed to sign a declaration attesting to what's happening. I've not had any contact with Mr. Saltz prior to this date and time. I reached out to Mr. Saltz because I saw a while ago he was on Twitter asking for public assistance in obtaining information and evidence from his case against defendants. Despite my efforts to get Ms. Paulson to get people to stop harassing me, the Phoenix account continued harassing me publicly by posting. Thank you for joining. All the people who are joining, I appreciate it. By posting a tweet that says I was in possession of screenshots of comments that could hurt Ms. Paulson's career, and I'm obviously working for someone else. The tweet office referenced me as an autistic retard. This was concerning because I had specifically told Ms. Paulson in private messages that I'm autistic. As such, I believe these accounts were working closely with Ms. Paulson. Below is a true and correct copy of this. I don't know if that means that they're necessarily in contact with KJ. I mean, it's a reasonable conclusion to draw, right? So it's reasonable to conclude because you would share that fact with KJ and another person's doing it. But by the same time, I feel like autistic retard is just a generic insult at this point. So I don't know that necessarily suggests what you think it suggests. It's a reasonable conclusion to draw, but I don't know if it's the most reasonable conclusion to draw because it just seems like Twitter insults to me. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but someone recently, to me, accused me of being autistic or Asperger's. So, there's that. The series of tweets was particularly disturbing to me, as the language it was in was repeatedly repeating what Miss Paulson said in her January video about having the back of people who were her detractors. During this time, I noticed a tweet from a person who was witnessing the spectacle, stating that they were a paying member of Miss Paulson's YouTube channel from Washington, and they can't wait to cancel their membership. This person also stated that they were thinking of providing such evidence to the plaintiff's attorney. Yeah, I know I'm not. I'm well aware of that, but that's my point. That's kind of my point, Cheryl, or Shelley. It's kind of my point, Shelley. It's like, yeah, it's just a generic insult. Yeah, I know I'm not, but that's kind of the point. It's a generic insult. So, even to someone who's not, it's just an insult or a thing to be said or a thing to undermine somebody. So, yeah, of course I'm not. But the fact that someone said it kind of proves my point of it's just kind of a generic insult at this point. So, therefore, we can't necessarily assume that they got it from Katie as opposed to, just saying it. Tickle Pink Music says, I'm behind watching, but I have to say you cracked me up. I'm glad. I do try to make the law fun. I even try to make the darkness fun as much as I can. Because why not try to keep it fun and enjoyable while we're doing the scary shit? It's shell. Okay. So it's not, you don't have an accent over your last E. So it'd be chalet with the accent, but it's shell. Okay, fair enough. Got it. On or about January the 16th, 2021, Mr. Saltz attempted to defend me and others against attacks. The Phoenix accounts responded posting the threats by saying, you're going to regret this. And we got a big surprise coming this way. Below are true and correct copies of Twitter screenshots of these postings. On or about of January 17th in UK, and when it was still January the 16th in the United States, I discovered that it can be two different dates in two different places in the world. I discovered that my email account had been hacked and accessed by an email as stated without a crystal ball. Said email is Miss Paulson's email address that she publishes her YouTube. The email address was used to set up a recovery email for my Google account. I further learned that Without a Crystal Ball's email ordered an archive of all my emails from Google. When I realized this happened, I got help from my friends to change my password, but the same email account attempted to access my account again. Okay. Below are some recent screenshots of this happening. Fun times. Okay. After this happened, I discovered that someone had also hacked into my Instagram account and deleted all my direct messages that I had with Miss Paulson on her Without a Crystal Ball account. Fortunately, however, I'm already made screenshots of my direct messages Without a Crystal Ball account on my phone. However, when taking inventory of the damage that had been done to my Instagram account, I saw the hackers created a post on my Instagram page regarding a traumatic event in my life. Specifically, the post concerned a box of effects from which my baby was stillborn. Ugh. I mean, people are vicious, and they will hurt you in the place that you most can be hurt. So it's not surprising that this happened, even though it is disturbing, because some people suck. This is this is the reminding lesson of that some people just generally suck, and this is also why the libertarians have it wrong. All due respect to any libertarians in the chat, but this is why the libertarians have it wrong, because I'm not sure they fully account for the fact that people suck in the libertarian vision. But yeah. That's why the conservative vision beats the libertarian vision, in my humble estimation. It's like, yeah, people suck. Specifically, the post concerns a box of effects. True is a correct copy of this. Oof. That's heavy. I've run out of my brown sugar bourbon. It's very sad for me. I only had like a fifth of a bottle left or something. So now it's time for the peanut butter bourbon. Peanut butter makes everything better, right? Let's find out. The message on my Instagram page said that my email address was being used to hack into my YouTube account. It then stated, "Stop hacking me, and I'll stop hacking you. I'm glad your kid is dead. You deserve it." Oof. Again, I don't even own a computer or an iPad, and don't even know how to change my passwords without help from others. That's problematic. Yeah. Well, it's peanut butter whiskey, technically, not peanut butter bourbon. The other one was bourbon. This one is whiskey. So, whatever. I think I might just get drunk and then go to sleep. That might be a good plan. The message, okay. On Sunday of January 17th, I also discovered my email address was registered at various pornographic websites, including Pornhub and on Xtube, with the username Katie is a cunt. Okay. I later received a direct message from Twitter from a Chloe account stating, among other things, "You really thought I'd let..." Again, I'd like to remind everyone at this point, because I know we're about to get into the dark tea, and you can have as much fun or not with the dark tea as you please. And I'm gonna read you the tea, whether it's dark or light, because you guys signed up for this, so you can deal with the dark tea too. But because the world sometimes is a dark place, and you have to remember that sometimes it's not all fun. But yeah, for me, again, I try to remain in the position as a judge. And as a judge, I would be thinking, this is all so irrelevant. Does anyone remember the motion to dismiss? The thing that we're supposed to be deciding? This is all so irrelevant. And this is the kind of thing, incidentally, that happens a lot in law and is a little bit frustrating sometimes for the lawyers. For me as a lawyer, let's speak to me. It's a little bit frustrating for me because a judge will say something, like, how can the judge say that? How can the judge say this cruel thing? How can they rule against this poor defendant? Or how can they rule in favor of this rich, privileged plaintiff? And don't they know the horrible things they did? And don't they know how horrible they are as a person? And don't they know all the things? And as a lawyer, I'm like, yeah, they know all the things, and they're making the legally correct decision. And it's, I don't know, it's a little frustrating sometimes from my position, because it's like, yeah, we're just following the law coldly, very coldly, very coldly. As I've said before, being an advocacy is warm-blooded, but justice is cold-blooded, very cold, very cold. It is not passionate. It is not emotional. It is very, very cold-blooded, very deliberately so. And I think it's for its benefit that it is. Just look at the facts, look at the law, do that. And so I look at all this and I'm like, well, this is emotionally interesting, but over here doing my work as a judge, and I can remain dispassionate. I can do this because I have enough training to be able to do this. So I can look at this and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but no, it's not relevant. And I'm just like, okay, what about the motion to dismiss again? And then, people would look at me and be like, what a horrible person he is. What an unemotional, unfeeling person he is. What a dick he is for not looking at this and not giving this person the emotional weight it is. And I'm over here as like acting as a judge. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of my job. So I don't know what to tell you. It's like, you're not even human anymore. I'm like, kind of, yeah, just, yeah. All right. Pressing on. Nate called you a pellet. Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah, fair enough. Cause I'm just, what am I talking about? I mean, you guys can inform him. I later received a direct message from Chloe saying, you really thought I'd let you be a witness for fucking Salty? I hacked you via VPN. Show this to anyone and you'll find yourself in a wooden box like your dead, ugly baby. Katie is my best friend. Now you're going to pay. I'm going to send everyone to your address. Rape, torture, electrocution. Below is a true and correct copy of these screenshots. Well, that's super fun times. On Sunday the 17th, I received an email that was made to look like it was from Miss Paulson, from the email address of whatever. The makeup is Toddy Beauty. We got that. We fixed that a while ago, but thanks. Yeah, we figured it out. I hacked myself into her account pretending to play victim. One of her followers doxed me and asked her how I'd like to have information given to 4 million people. I could be the victim of identity theft. She could tell anyone that I harassed her and they wouldn't believe her. She has friends in high places that will hurt me, but she doesn't want any harm to happen to me. She said that I don't share information. Yeah. So it attaches Exhibit 4. No. Red Velvet Harbor says she appreciates my take. Thank you. There's a lot of people with a lot of takes, and Emily has different takes. And I've come away with the general impression, and I don't know the degree to which this is for public purposes versus what she really thinks. Right? So is Emily, for example, and this is not meant to be a slight against Emily. I want to state that up front. This is not meant to be a slight or a condemnation. It's just an interesting observation of how about different people think differently. So I want to make that 100% clear. But Emily, at least when she does this online, and she responds to it online, she responds with a lot more emotional drama than I do. So I don't know the degree to which that is for the purposes of YouTube, which it might very well be, or for the purposes of that's like how she actually responds and thinks. And even the degree to which, to the extent it is how she thinks, maybe she's playing it up for YouTube. That could be a thing. Like she's notching herself up for YouTube. That could be a thing. So it's authentic, but it's raised beyond where it would not otherwise be. So I don't know the degree to which Emily thinks differently, but this is how I think. And it's like, I'm glad you like how I think. And I'm glad that you like the way Emily thinks. It's okay. It's okay to like how different people think. It's okay to have different perspectives. It's totally fine. That's why it's good, because we're all different humans. And you can see, and you can just imagine, right? This is something I think about. This is what I think about sometimes. It's like, imagine that Emily and me were actually federal judges for real. Imagine that me and Emily were really federal judges for real. Imagine how Emily would look at this case as a judge. Imagine how I would look at this case as a judge. Does that come out the same way? If it doesn't, does that mean one of us is wrong? Not necessarily, because we look at different things. We care about different things. We respond to different things. Right? So I just find it very interesting in a very intellectual way about how it speaks to the human condition. So it's very intellectually intriguing to me. But I'm glad you like the way I think. So it's one person's perspectives, Can we get this show on the road, please? V says, can we get this show on the road? No, we can't. It's my channel, and I can do whatever the hell I want. So deal. How about that? Fantastic. Great. On Sunday, January the 17th at 8:33 p.m., the hackers sent messages to me via person they thought to be my mother on Facebook Messenger, stating that there will be a harassment lawsuit filed against me against Mr. Saltz. And there are people linked everywhere, and I need to delete what I have and just tell Mr. Saltz I've changed my mind about being a witness in my case. After I received this message, I observed the Phoenix account and Chloe account published multiple tweets apologizing for harassing and threatening everyone, and stating that Mrs. Paulson ordered them to disclose my information and threatened to kill me. However, just as soon as they appeared to be turning on Miss Paulson, the Phoenix and Chloe accounts went right back to harassing and threatening everyone, including me. Attached are some screenshots. Sadly, it was at this time that Chloe account posted a tweet on Twitter stating that the harassment of myself was going to get 10 times worse, and they had my address. V says kind of rude. V says it's kind of rude? Wow. This is an interesting comment from V. We'll take time to discuss this because, once again, it's my channel and I can. So V says it's kind of rude. Well, I'm not sure which is more rude, what I said to you or what you said to me. I mean, can we just get on with it? I don't know, man. It's my channel. I want to cover it the way I want to cover it. I want to talk about the things I want to cover about. And from time to time, I want to make asides and talk about other things, such as what I'm doing at literally right this second, making an aside and talking about what you said, because I can, because it's my channel and I want to. And, different people do this differently, and maybe one of them would be better for you. Maybe I'm not the presenter for you, but I am who I am. And yeah, so I don't know, maybe perchance, maybe it's kind of rude. Just a suggestion. Maybe it's kind of rude to tell a creator who's creating how they should go about creating. I don't know, just a thought. Anyways, back to the screenshots from Chloe. Did you enjoy today because it's about to get 10 times worse as I have your full address? On or about January the 18th, the Chloe account also posted Twitter. They're sending people to burn alive plaintiffs' known witnesses, Lori Ann Barnhart and myself. Chloe says, no way I'd let that bitch ruin my life. Lori, I'm coming for you too. And Chloe says, I got people on the way to your witness's house, Lori and Nat. In the UK? There are worse things in life than death. Both of you are about to burn alive. That sounds pretty threatening. Yeah. Then to further threaten and harass me, the Chloe account published all my personal account information, including my address and telephone number. Below is a true and correct copy of this. From Chloe. KJ gave me permission, so here is Natalie's presumably phone number, because it's 06. That looks like the start of a UK number. Regarding something 07, maybe that's a telephone number too. Natalie Rose, because crazy cat lady Insta. Fire is my biggest fear. Really? I mean, it's not like completely unusual, but okay. When I saw tweets about burning me alive and the people were on my way to burn me alive, I decided to, as I did, take steps to end my life. Oof. Luckily, friends and family intervened. That's harsh, man. Yeah. On or about January the 20th, the Phoenix account again threatened on Twitter to burn me alive with acid. I mean, these are absolutely threats. These are legally threats. These are legally threatening. And I wish I wish police departments did more about them, to be quite honest, because these are threats. They should be investigated. The people behind them should be arrested and prosecuted. This is not okay. It's not relevant to the immediate issue of jurisdiction, so that's for damn sure. So as the judge in this particular case, I don't particularly care, but I care in so much as I'm a human being and I care about these people. And I hope that someone somewhere is investigating this and hope that the people behind it will be prosecuted, because this is not acceptable. Don't do this thing. You know? From Bear. Do you know penguins via Nat? You and her could burn alive together. Acid is easy to come by. Be melted faced, or penis be better? Okay. Then or about January the 21st, after Twitter shutdown of the Phoenix accounts and the Chloe accounts, a new account appeared under the name of whatever. Oh, excuse me, 1 second. Got a text message I need to respond to real fast. Nate the lawyer has checked out. Nate the lawyer says he's done. I respect that. I respect that completely. Send you a link. Oh, you want to join the chat to Nate? Oh, Nate wants to join. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not doing Streamlabs. Text him back. 1 second. We take care of our friends on Uncivil Law. Yeah. Nate wanted to join, but there's no link for me to share because I'm not doing this on StreamYard, so no disrespect. No, he can't join because I'm not doing the StreamYards. I'd have to, in order for him to join, I'd have to stop the stream and start a new stream, which, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. So no. Anyways, we'll talk to Nate later. Blow and trick true correct copies I received from a HANA account telling me if I do not destroy evidence, they'll kill my parents. That's always plus. You've been identified as being one of Michael Salt's witnesses against my client. As of 8:55, you have 24 hours to delete all your screenshots you have saved up to, and including yesterday's conversation with Katie. You must also remove yourself from social media and therefore delete all your accounts, or you'll face the consequences of your actions. Not only will Miss Paulson be under advised to file a lawsuit against you, I'll have your mom's details. Life without a parent can be especially lonely. Knowing you're responsible for the death of one is almost impossible to forget. That's a promise. Sincerely, Hannah. Oof. That's rough. Yeah. In addition to harassing tweets and messages, thank you, Streamlabs, for notifying me of all the things at once. That's great. In addition to the harassing tweets and messages, I continue to be harassed by hackers registering me for pornographic sites, Fueler Parlor inquiries, and other inappropriate material. They have also sent me disturbing messages to my family and friends. I've also seen continued hacking attempts into my PayPal and social media accounts. The Phoenix, Chloe, and Hannah accounts have all been taken down by Twitter. However, every time one of these harassing accounts is taken down, another is created. As such, I continue to be the recipient of daily harassing and threatening messages and tweets that have the same underlying message of attempting to prevent me from being a witness in this case. By way of example and not limitation, and that's definitely legal language for sure, on about January 24th, a new Twitter account was created under the name of whatever. Almost immediately after the creation, Clary account tweeted a picture of the keepsafe box of items I keep from the day I lost my baby and stated they, okay, that's fun. They be masturbating over my dead baby. And the harassment won't ever end. Below is a true and correct copy. We've been masturbating over your dead baby. This is your box, right? Ha ha ha. This won't ever end. Now you made an enemy of us. You can read her obituate next, you dead. Well, that's pretty disturbing shit. Don't do that. That's bad. And I declare under penalty of perjury that all this is true. Signed. Yeah, great. And then we have some exhibits. I have to resize the box for the exhibits though, because it's a little bit off. So give me a second here. I'll just redo the boundaries of the page. Great. Not a troll. I have a huge following on YouTube. What do you get? 20 followers on YouTube. Girl, I'd be extremely careful with what you say. Don't want to get you hurt now. You want to be careful. KJ doesn't take being harassed lightly. This is a lot. This is a lot. This is definitely on. I mean, if we hadn't passed that point before, we're definitely at this point on the extreme side of civil cases. So this is we're definitely in the top 1% if we hadn't passed that point before. So yeah, this is civil cases can get ugly, but this is notable for its ugliness. I've honestly seen worse than this. As disturbing as this is, I've seen some real shit. And again, if you want the real shit, well, it might not even be in the top 1% of all civil cases. Actually, I might have to take that back. It might not be in the top 1% of all civil cases. You know why it might not be in the top 1% of all civil cases? You know why this might not be the most extreme thing in when you consider all civil cases? And you guys should know the answer to this question already. And the answer is very simple. It's 2 words. Family law. Yeah. 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 But outside family law, this is notable, so it's got that going on for it. Yeah. Can a judge seal this case? Sealing is a very extreme remedy, and it's done under the most narrow circumstances. It's exceptionally more likely. Look, let me put it this way. I wouldn't seal this case as a judge because it's not in that category. I know as disturbing as it is, it's not in that category. It's just not. I might deal with specific documents. I might even think about a gag order, but sealing the entire document case, no, I wouldn't do it because, But can a judge do it? Kind of, sort of, yes, but by the same token, sealing a case is an extreme remedy. It's a very extreme remedy because there's a presumption of public access. There's a presumption of things being in the open. For better or worse, that's our legal system. Things are supposed to be in the open. So things not being in the open, when things are not in the open, that's a big fucking deal. Yeah, so. From Chloe, makeup, dancing, singer, theater loving girl. She asked me to, so she has my back. What a load. There's no way KJ would ask you to do anything for her. I got paid. Did you? So accusing Katie of paying her. Do I think the judge will order a gag order? I don't know. It depends a lot on how the status conference thing goes. Do I think they will? I don't know. It's a hard call. It's a hard call. It's a hard call for me. Because the gag order, again, is pretty extreme. I think about it, though. I'll tell you what. I can see judges doing it, though. So it's definitely within the realm of possibility. So I could see a judge doing it for sure. I could see even a judge having a more visceral yes. So I could see a judge having a visceral reaction of yes, let's seal it, let's issue the gag order. I mean, because some judges are very, very controlling of what happens in the courtroom, which is fair enough, and some judges are a little less caring about certain things. Again, so what do people care about? So I could see a judge having a very visceral yes, let's seal this, but I could also see no. So it depends. Or apologize with the gag order. I don't know. From Chloe. You're so funny. In another life, I'd be friends. Shane, you'd be fighting for the wrong team, baby girl. Twitter is a very, I think the operative lesson from this really is don't use the Twitter. That's the operative lesson is don't use the Twitter. Basically, I have a Twitter account basically for the sole purpose of announcing my videos, and that's basically it. That's all the Twitter account really does is announce my videos. And I very, very, very rarely use Twitter for anything other than that, because Twitter is a horrible, horrible place. It's a horrible wasteland of shit. So I think the operative lesson here is don't use the Twitter. Twitter sucks. Twitter completely sucks. Don't use the Twitter. Stop using the Twitter. You'll be much happier in your life. That's the operative lesson here. Use the YouTube. Use even the Facebooks. Use the Instagrams. That's fine. Twitter, fuck that. Fuck that shit. From Chloe, Lori was two-faced. Her true friends are not. Chloe, who says anything about being friends? You're the last person I'd be mates with. Our follow counts is what I have 30 of our 130. You have 30, 100,000. Bye-bye. You know I love all my haters, really. Okay. You're laughable. I'm not racist. They changed the @ after being called out. More harassment from KJ Stans. It's reasonable. They changed after the @ yeah, okay. Because the comments KJ deleted and someone screenshot them and put them out there, that's unfair. Emily D. Baker, my bet's on you because Without a Crystal Ball has more followers. Are you that jealous now using people to try and target KJ? I can't see it on KJ's Insta. It's highly convenient. Does anyone remember a fucking legal issue? Does anyone in the goddamn chat remember a legal issue that we actually cared about? Deep breaths. Very deep breaths. It seemed with the threats. Yeah, no, I could definitely see. Yeah, that might be a factor. It's an extreme remedy, but I could see one particularly for the clients. So I could see a gag order against Katie. That'd be hilarious. And you could issue one against Katie or Toddy, but not that would matter because she's not making any videos anyway. But yeah, I against Katie, she's looking more promising. Against the attorneys, much less so. Yeah, gag order should be narrowly construed. But making one specifically against Katie, that might be hilarious. I mean, you technically would have to also make it against Toddy to be fair. It just wouldn't matter. So, from Penny, he's such a proc. They thinks he knows it all. We got a big surprise coming his way. This is Saltz that this is going to. Saltz doesn't know it all. He's a very competent lawyer. And Brown, at least at this point, is becoming a competent lawyer. So thank God for that Brown's becoming a competent lawyer. You know, the motion to dismiss kind of, bleh, but he's become a competent lawyer since then. But yeah, Saltz is a competent lawyer. Brown, since the motion to dismiss, has been a competent lawyer. So he doesn't think he knows it all. They both have stretched, and Saltz made the first mistake. So Saltz was the first bad actor when it came to all this personal stuff between the lawyers. Saltz was the one who started this rodeo. Saltz was the one who made the first comment in the pleading about Brown acting in bad faith, and I think it kind of spiraled and went to shit. So Saltz is the one who went off the rails and made this personal between the lawyers. And now some real words have been exchanged. So now it's really hard for anyone to roll this back. But, you know, I think Saltz should try to roll this back. I think Saltz is going to have to suck it up a little bit, which I know is super hard because some real bad things have been said against Salts from Brown's side. So that's hard, man, because it's like, who suffered more injury at this point, you know? But it's like, yeah, I think Salts has to be the bigger man and put this back in the box. It's like, can I take you out for a drink or something at this point? It's like, can we mend ways, and please, can we remember that we're not the clients, and can we please try to remember that, you know, we're professionals and not make this personal? And I'm really sorry for that thing I said about the bad faith. That was my bad. And can we please put it behind us? And yeah. Yeah. Yeah, send a bottle of liquor with an apology note. Sounds probably like a pretty good idea. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Send Brown a bottle of liquor with a nice handwritten apology note. See if that works. That's a pretty good idea. Brown tried to get Lori to file a bar complaint. It doesn't look that way. No, we saw that. That seems to not be true, because we read the entire email exchange from Brown, and that does not seem to be true. Brown did not seem to try to get Lori to file a bar complaint. The only email that seems to be on point, because again, we read 200. We read, how many was it? 221 pages. Yeah, we read 221 pages of email exchange. The only email that seems to be on point was an exchange from Brown saying, here is a whole bunch of options you have. You could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And one of the things is file a bar complaint. It didn't seem like encouraging it, so no. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, I mean, we have to look at this fairly. We have to be fair to both sides, right? So in the same way, we're going to be fair to Salts, and we're going to look at his tweets, right? And we're going to say, did his tweets call out Katie? No, they didn't. We read them. We analyzed them. They didn't by their own terms. They just said, we've been hacked. It's from this address. It didn't make any accusations against Katie. So we read what Salts said charitably. If we're going to do that, we got to also read Brown, what he said charitably. And Brown said, here's a whole bunch of options. One of them is filing a bar complaint. That was an encouragement, to my mind. It's not. So again, trying to be equal to both sides, right? I don't think Salts was accusing Katie. I don't think Brown was encouraging a bar complaint. And that's what I think. From whatever, you're wrong. Apologize. You're dead. But want to scream harassment over a screenshot being posted. Y'all psycho army or psycho leader pretending to be her armor. Either way, friggin' yikers. I seriously hope Katie doesn't win. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the actual issues, like let's turn to the actual issues, right? So in the motion to dismiss, right, let's just look at the legal issues and look at them dispassionately. And again, this is my perspective. This is what I think. Trying to be as dispassionate as I can. It doesn't necessarily mean that another lawyer or another judge wouldn't disagree with me, because judges are people too. And even though they're dispassionate, they think about things differently than me. So all I can do is give you my perspective as best as I can, try to estimate what I think the judge will do. So on the actual legal issue we're trying to decide at this second, which is personal jurisdiction, I think Katie should win. However, I've predicted Toddy will win. So I don't think that the judge is going to do what I think. So I think Katie should win the personal jurisdiction issue. But I've predicted 65-35 that they're going to go for Katie. I apologize, for Toddy. That was my misspeak. 65 for Toddy. And I'm still comfortable with that prediction because of what we see. And the fact, and that also is being significantly biased, incidentally, by the fact that judges in general like to keep jurisdiction. So for Nate, for example, Nate has gone basically the other way. I think he's predicted 70-30 the other way around. And that's fair. That's a fair prediction. The thing that's skewing my prediction is for 65-35, the other. So basically, Nate and I are exactly opposite. The thing that's skewing my prediction from Nate is the fact that judges in general like to keep jurisdiction. They like to have it. So I'm not sure Nate has perfectly factored that into his equation. So that's what's skewing it for me. But I think Katie should win. And again, I'm going to state this very clearly so people cannot misunderstand me. This has very, very, very little to do with Toddy and Katie, right? When I'm making this determination about who should win, I'm looking at the actual legal issues and I'm trying to project how those look into the future. Because Toddy's theory of the case would seem potentially to suggest that Katie can be sued has jurisdiction everywhere. And that seems problematic to me. So my thought that Katie should win this has basically zero to do with Katie and Toddy. It has basically zero to do with them. As it should, because law speaks to broad principles. It doesn't speak to these people. No legal case speaks to these people. It speaks to, because there's precedent, things speak beyond that. So you gotta worry about the long term too. You gotta at least consider it. So like the fact that Toddy and Katie and all this shit, like I actually don't care as to the law. Nor should I, in my estimation, because law has to permeate everything. It has to be universally applied. It has to apply to everyone. That's the point, right? You see on the Supreme Court of equal justice under law. Equal justice under law. That's the principle. That's the guiding line. So Toddy and Katie are completely irrelevant. They are totally irrelevant to law. They must be irrelevant. We got to look to the legal issues and how they're going to apply universally and what standard we want to apply every time. And this can't be about who you like and who you don't like, because who you like and who you don't like might change sides, right? So at the moment, the chat, or maybe the internet at large, likes Toddy, right? So maybe that's the general consensus from the internet. They like Toddy. Okay, I'm not here to challenge your general consensus because I don't really care, because I don't like either side. I mean, I don't like either side personally because I don't know anything, nor do I care. I don't want to care. So I don't begrudge you liking Toddy. I don't begrudge you. You can like Toddy all you want. You just have to remember that in some lawsuit somewhere, Toddy might be on the wrong side of the V mark, and it might be the same issue. That's possible. It's possible. And if it's not Toddy on the wrong side of the V mark, it'll be someone you like on the wrong side of the V mark. I fucking guarantee. And sooner rather than later, it will be that. It has to be. Someone you love, someone you die for, ride or die, right? So will be on the other side of the V, and you'll be like, well, they can't be that because that's not fair. That's why I'm over here talking about, man. I'm like, you can't make this personal. It can't be personal. It can't be. You have to look to the law. You have to look to the law. You can't look to whose side you like, because who you like might be on the other side of the V someday, and you might want a different rule. That's not how this fucking works. You don't get to have double standards in law. Fuck you. You don't get to have double standards. You have to have the same standard universally for no matter who it is. Equal justice under law. It has to be. So when I'm looking at this issue, I'm looking at this legally, and I'm looking at the law, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if Toddy's legal theory is correct, that implies personal jurisdiction for Katie everywhere. And that can't possibly be true, because that doesn't seem to work. And so that can't be right. So my bias going into this as a judge, my bias is I want to rule for Katie. I want to rule for Katie. I want Katie to be right. Now, again, as a judge, my job is to apply the law, because I believe in precedent too, especially if it's binding from the Ninth Circuit, or because I'd be in the Ninth Circuit in this case, or from the Supreme Court. My job is to apply the law, not necessarily what I want or wish. And Justice Scalia himself said a judge who always rules the way they want is probably a very bad judge. And I agree with that. A judge can't always reach the conclusions they want. So if I were the judge in this case, I'd want to rule for Katie. I don't know if that's possible or not, because I'd actually have to go read the cases and see what the Ninth Circuit does, and what the Ninth Circuit and the Supreme Court, and also for that matter, what other circuits have said, because it's the least persuasive authority. So I'd have to look to see what the case law speaks to, and what it allows for and what it doesn't allow for. And if the law compelled me to rule for Toddy's side, I'd do it in a fucking heartbeat, because it's my fucking job as a judge is to rule for the way the law requires, not for what I want to be true. So if I read the case law and that was the right decision, I'd rule for Toddy. Of course I would. I'd do it in a damn heartbeat. I wouldn't even blink about it. Wouldn't even blink. But like, if I had the free choice, if I could, I want Katie to win. It has zero to do with Katie and Toddy. It has to do a lot with what happens next, what happens next, what happens next, what happens next. You know? Yeah. And you gotta think about this shit. Yeah. You gotta think about it. From Chloe. Do people really have nothing better to do with their time than try to ruin a good person's name? Without a crystal ball, KJ is a good person. Leave her alone, you bullies. It's an opinion. From Penny. Fun and bubble outgoing girl. All my opinions are my own. Follow without a crystal ball for great content. We love you, Katie. Stop bullying. Well, as to that last sentence, stop bullying. I hope we can all agree as to that much. Stop bullying Katie and stop bullying Toddy. How about that? And also stop bullying Salt and stop bullying Brown. How about that? How about we just stop bullying everybody? That'd be great. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Stop bullying Katie. Seriously, stop it. Don't do it. Also, while you're at it, don't bully Toddy, don't bully Salt, and don't bully Brown. And also, don't bully anyone, period. These are actually people. And also, for that matter, I'd say that to Katie and to Toddy themselves. Right? And just because someone else does it doesn't make it okay for you to do it. Right? So even if Katie is bullying people, it doesn't necessarily make you okay for a bully. It makes it okay for you to shun her or to dismiss her, but not really to bully her. That's right. So, just a thought. Maz says on the defamation. Maz asks on the defamation, man, we've long since forgotten about the defamation. We've long since forgotten about any issue that's relevant in this case. We've long since forgotten about like reality. Your threats are meaningless. I'm not from the US and I don't own a YouTube page. I'm merely a member. The Republican actually has a KJ's best interest at heart. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. ASAP Atheist is not bullying to talk poorly about someone who got more views than NBC. No, that's perfectly fair, and we do have to constrain what we mean by bullying. So that's perfectly fair point. We do have to constrain what we mean by bullying. Bullying does not mean having an opinion. That's not bullying. Even a negative opinion is not bullying, right? I didn't think it was bullying for the person to say I'm autistic Asperger's. I didn't think that was bullying. I thought it was bullshit. But like, and I'm like, right, whatever. But yeah, we do have to be a little bit clear what we mean about bullying. So we could include things like doxing. We could include things like harassment. We could include things like death threats. So we have to be a little bit clear what we mean. Fair point. Fair point. Jess says the difference majorly with Emily and you is she's known YouTube beauty drama. She's more expressive often. Both of you pretty much say the same thing. I think most don't notice that. Yeah, Emily and I largely disagree. Emily and I do have a few differences of legal opinion. The most notable that exists between Emily and I at this second on legal opinion is the idea that the request for the status conference from Brown means that Brown is waiving the personal jurisdiction issue because Brown is asking the court to decide something. So Emily has taken the position that because Brown requested the status conference, ergo he's asking the judge to decide something, ergo he's waived personal jurisdiction, because how can the judge decide stuff if they don't have personal jurisdiction? That's Emily's argument. My argument is no, the federal rules seem to allow for a status conference at any time in the case. This is ostensibly within the motion to dismiss. It's not a rebuttal to the merits, so it does not waive personal jurisdiction. So Emily and I do have a difference as to the legal understanding of this at this point. And we might find out who's right depending on what the judge does. But yeah, that's the biggest disagreement we have at the moment. And it's not like a personal thing. We just professionally misunderstand. We professionally disagree on the legal implications of something. And we'll find out which of us is better, depending what the judge does. I mean, if the judge says, okay, you waive personal jurisdiction. Now, the most ideal thing would be if the judge actually cites some precedent. That'd be great. Because if the judge just says, by doing this, you waive personal jurisdiction and doesn't cite precedent, then I might just say, okay, well, the judge is wrong. Which they might very well be. Judge might be wrong. Judges do get reversed. So the most ideal situation would be the judge cites some precedent somewhere that would guide that decision rather than making it up. I mean, occasionally judges have to make something up because there's no answer in case law. But yeah, so that'd be the most ideal situation, and we'll see if that happens, and then we'll see if the judge makes a decision one way or the other and cites precedent accordingly. That'd be great. If not, then we'll continue disagreeing, I guess, because I can disagree with judges. I disagree with the goddamn Supreme Court sometimes, and they're the final authority. So, like, if I can disagree with the Supreme Court, I can definitely disagree with this judge. You know what I've said? Yeah. California law agrees with Emily. Interesting. But of course, then again, we're in Washington. But fair enough. Means what? We can find out where you live, your house number, your social security, your schools, your family, phone numbers, life history, medical, any reports you've ever made, and post it here and tag go. So you best effing listen and remove all your stuff about KJ me now. From Without a Crystal Ball, please stop sending me your minions to threaten me on Twitter. My posts were originally to warn you, not to send hate. I removed the social security number. Please stop them from doing this to me. I'm autistic. Oh no, this is too Without a Crystal Ball. I apologize. This is from Natalie. Please, I removed social security. Please stop do this to me. I am autistic. Can't deal with this. I don't know who you are or what you're talking about, which I kind of believe. Could the judges just decide jurisdiction status conference? Very unlikely. But the judge can do a lot of things. Yeah, the stat. First of all, technically speaking, at this point, we don't even have a status conference. We have a hearing to decide whether or not there will be a status conference. That's the state we're at. We don't even have a goddamn status conference. Technically, what we have at this point is a hearing to decide whether or not there will be a status conference. That's the stage we're at. This is the level of bullshit we're at this point. Should we have a status conference or not? That's what we're trying to decide at this exact second. Now, that being said, because both parties are in the room and both attorneys are in the room, the judge can go beyond that. So, like, I kind of secretly hope the judge is going to say, yeah, by the way, now that you're all here, I agree that there should be a status conference. So, congratulations, you're now at a status conference. So, let's do that now. That'd be great. And the judge could say, as part of that status conference, yeah, I'm ruling that there is not jurisdiction, and a order to follow will, an order relevant to that will soon follow. Right? Because, I mean, they have to put it in writing, and they have to explain the reasons. But they could say, yeah, by the way, there's jurisdiction / is not jurisdiction, and there will be an order shortly in writing. And shortly could be like a week later, depending on what the judge needs to do. But yeah, I mean, the judge can do a lot of shit with both parties in the room, especially. He can do a lot of shit. So this motion for a status conference could turn into a status conference, could turn into a personal jurisdiction hearing, could turn into a lot of things. It's possible because both parties are there. So why the hell not? Of course, it could not do that. It could just be, oh yeah, let's have a status conference, and the status conference is scheduled for X. So, I mean, it could be a whole bunch of shit, depending on what's going on. One of the reasons I'm trying to get into this hearing from the judge, because it could expand. And if I were a betting man, I bet it will expand. I bet the hearing will turn into the status conference at least. Will it turn into a personal jurisdiction hearing? If I had to guess, probably not. But anything's possible. So we'll find out. The Sasha lady from Twitter, ISS, Jessica's comments off your Insta. When she had evidence, you had to delete stuff about Toddy. I tried to warn you, but since she said I was harassing you, and since 4 a.m. this morning, has hounded me and doxed me in your honor, please stop them. I don't tell anyone to do anything. Who's Sasha? I don't know these people. We're your followers. Can you at least post and ask your followers not to send hate or threatening people? They're doing it in your name. Said they've told them to have their backs. Don't get involved with anything legal. I didn't tell anyone to do anything, period. Whatever you've posted has SS of you staying. They remove things from Todd. I can't speak to you, which is obviously illegal. Nah. But I warned you and got threatened result. Where? On Twitter. I don't see the replies nor read them. Don't tell anyone I deleted anything or I'll sue you. Not the most productive exchange, but okay. I'm gonna have to wind up calling the judge tomorrow. I can just tell. I'm gonna have to wind up calling the judge tomorrow, which I really don't want to do, but I'm gonna have to call him tomorrow. Let's see if they sent me an email back today. By any chance, did they send me an email? Nope. I'm gonna have to call a judge tomorrow. That's gonna be fucking great. Oh, is a copyright claim against my video? What copyright claim? I got a copyright. One of my videos has been blocked in some countries because of something I cited from Stephen Colbert. Whatever. Thank you, YouTube, for being a jackass. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call the judge's chambers tomorrow. That fucking sucks. I really don't want to have that conversation, but I'll do it for you guys. Why do I have to call the judge? Because I want to get access to the hearing on Monday. I want to get access to it. So I need login credentials or whatever. So yeah, it's not my favorite thing to do in the world, but I'll do it for you guys. So yeah, I want to get access to the status conference on the 1st, which is Monday. Now, that being said, I probably will almost certainly not be allowed to rebroadcast it. So that means I'll have to either re-say what they're saying in real time, or I'll have to describe it or something. But yeah. How will I speak to the judge? By calling. Oof. What did you post about her? I don't know about her. Nothing about her. I posted about you trying to warn about Jessica having SS of you stating you had deleted stuff about Tatib, as people would know interested in reporting it. Yeah. So the viewing party, I probably will almost certainly not get permission to rebroadcast. So you won't be able to hear it or see it, but maybe I can describe it to you or something. And then I look forward to the chat saying, why can't I listen to this? Why can't I see it? What is it? Because the fucking law won't allow me. Fucking deal. From Katie Paulson, apparently. Natalie. Tried to hack my account early. You're pretending to be the victim. While it doesn't walk with me or anyone else, I have 4 million views on YouTube with 120,000 subs. What have you got? One of my followers doxed you yesterday. How would you like that information given to 4 million people? You could be subject to identity theft and even attacked. I could tell anyone that you harass me and would believe me. I have friends in high places that can and will hurt you, but I don't want any harm to come to you, so I'm asking you nicely to stop. Don't share any information with anyone, okay? Let's be friends. I add you to Instagram and we can talk. Maybe we even send you some money, seeing as you don't make much of an apology for friend doxing you. I know you're autistic and need help. Let me help you. My son is severely impaired. If these people sue me, I'll be charged and put in prison. That's my Don, who only is taken away from his mother. Do you really want to be responsible for that? Please think twice. When I post a discussion on the marriage discuss, of course I will. I'll give you as much as I can. I don't want to restrain you. I don't want to stop you. It's just that by standard rules, you can't rebroadcast. It's dumb, particularly in the internet age, but law is the law, so I'm not going to break it. As an attorney, I'm not going to break it. So, but yeah, I'll give you as much as I can. I mean, there's nothing stopping me literally from listening to it and just repeating the words into the microphone. That's how dumb it is. because I'm not rebroadcasting, I'm not retransmitting. I'm just speaking the words they're saying in real time. That's how dumb it is, but that's the level we're at. So I might just like close my eyes and just recite what I'm hearing in real time. You know, that's, yeah. Welcome to, yeah. From Katie Joy. You need to stop, y'all. If you know the witness is Natalie from whatever, tell her direct from us. My legal team is the best, and my attorney already has her details. We are filed a motion to dismiss. We'll be filing harassment on assaults, and for you for continued defamation of character and channel. So if you think your daughter's getting away with this, she's not. If you delete the screenshots of what you have, I'll think about not pressing any further charge. I believe she's mentally deranged to try and hack me like this. Y'all need to stop because your IP address is linked to those girls' account. I'm not stupid. We know you got salts, but this covers us. So before you carry on, I suggest you look around. I have people everywhere, even in Telford Dice. That's right. How do you think we hacked your IP address? They are working for me. I have millions of followers who do anything for me. So I can have people hurt you physically. I don't want that. So you need to delete what you have. Just tell Saltsy you got change your mind and go back in the hall of your girlfriend. This is not encouraging from Katie Joy. Find out you remain a witness. I'll make sure your life is over. Your choice. Okay, so there's a name for this. It's called witness intimidation, and it's pretty illegal. It's pretty illegal. This is witness intimidation. If you continue being a witness, I will stop you. If you don't stop right now, I'll hurt you. Yeah, this is intimidation of witness. This is pretty illegal. Yeah. What the hell don't you mean dare threaten me, you stupid piece of shit? This is Natalie's IP address. That's the IP address that was hacked. You think you're smart? You're not even, my IP is private. Not even a subpoena will be able to find mine. Those accounts lead back to that IP address, so when y'all friends become witnesses, they'll file criminal charges, leading her to face 45 years? Where are you coming up with this number? In prison. Now I'm asking nicely. Just tell Salsa you don't want to be involved any longer. I hear you're suicidal. Just say your mental health is bad or something, then walk away. No more hacking nothing. We will leave this alone. But this won't stop until you do. If you send these messages, you're a silly little girl because they're not traceable. Leave me look like a fool. As soon as I find out, I'll sue you for harassment. Think twice or face consequences. Delete the trail. No harm will come to you. Yeah. No. This is really completely super illegal. This is very illegal. Yeah. I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but that's not how it works in the UK. It's called blackmail. Yeah. Malicious communication. Yeah. Harassment. Yeah. Threats to kill. Yeah. All of which are taken seriously. Yeah. If you not get to threaten my family and get away with it, if not won't become a witness, I will. What are you going to do to me? I ain't scared like a clown of you. See me, let a little bit of advice. Your Facebook is traceable. Your emails are traceable. Your Twitter, social media, YouTube is all. What the word is all traceable. Yeah. This is not great. You threatened my family to the extent that because of you, she tried to kill herself last night. Take a seat, dear. You just messed with the wrong people. I have over 130,000 followers and nearly 5 million views. If I say sexually assaulted a child, even without proof, my followers will destroy her. Then she'll end up in a box. There are worse things than death, torture, execution, rape. I have people everywhere. You can't trace me. None of this will come back to me. So why put an already suicidal God through more? That won't stop unless she does. Delete that, Sessa. Yeah, no, this sounds like true threats. This sounds suspiciously like true threats in interstate commerce. So, if the U.S. attorney were so inclined, what happened yesterday? What do you mean? What do you mean? If it's a fake FJ account, well, whoever it's from, man. I mean, whoever it's from, it's illegal. So if it's not from Katie, fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe it's not from Katie. But if it is someone, yeah. Without Cristobal, delete the videos of Toddy or private file attached to her Gmail account. She has them a passcode of her son's birthday. Hopes she said, like, we're sorry. She plans to sue you for harassment for making out her emails. I'm sorry KJ had me and many users a certain IP address to sign into. So when come back to her, she also gave us emails, passwords, provides proof, but not on here. Please accept my apologies. Can we see a cute puppy or kitten? No, man, you get what you get, man. And you get what you get in tea land. Not all tea is fun. So, yeah, no. I can prove KJ tried to hack you. You blow up on your account. You're insane. You need a straitjacket. Let me help you with this. Your IP address is linked to your Facebook. Good luck hiding that. I can prove this was without a Cristobal official. She told us it was. You asked me and many others to help you, but we just fucked us over on chat, saying we messed shut up. For you did we fuck you a mean bully. Okay, that's good. Chloe says I don't want to get in trouble. I'm only 13. I believe it. I believe it, man. Yeah. She set us up. She told me in Facebook chat that her son was dying of cancer and she was being targeted on Facebook and bullying me. And my sister said she would help me. I'm 13. She's a bit older. What we did was wrong, but she lied to us. She threatened, gave me the addition to docs. Yeah, I kind of believe that. This account was made through someone else's IP address. I think they're filing to get us in trouble when it isn't their fault. But we just did what KJ said because her son is dying and our brother died of cancer. That's why we're talking to her in the first place. From Penny. That's not true. KJ gave others information and told them what to do. Another account just tried to come forward before she regained the account to make up she'd been the victim. This evening, I'll take all necessary screenshots and send them to relevant agencies. And from Chloe, you told us to hack a certain IP address to make an account so you weren't trying yours. You told us your son was dying of cancer. You forgot what we were and no delete evidence because Wednesday at 9. It's Tuesdays. Is it Wednesday? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh. I have to apologize to Nate because we have a weekly stream on Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it is Wednesday. And for some, I don't know. I kind of dissed Nate by, I don't know, because he's been saying what happened to you last night, and then because we have our weekly stream on Wednesday, but for some reason I thought it was Tuesdays. I don't know. I got confused. That's my bad. So maybe Nate and I'll be on tonight. That's totally my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's my bad. Look up Uncivil. I'm typing. Deal. Christy, look up. I'm typing. I'm looking down to type because I'm talking to my friend Nate. Nate's my friend and I don't want to disrespect him. From Chloe, you really think we'd let any of you mess with our queen? What, a few hacking attempts, a few nasty PMs, a few threats, and you all go crazy, you bullies. Without a Cristobal is one of my best friends. No way I let your monsters push her any further. Is that all too seriously? Haha, we tracked your IP address, and so we'll trace back to you. Don't worry, we have all your details. Bank details, social media accounts. So if you try bully any further, I'll try to make comes to true. Yeah. Did you get our message today, sweetheart? You should listen before we doxed you too. No hate, but Katie is 2,000 times a person. Anyone that makes claims against us whilst, well, that's definitely British for sure, actively trying to use defamation and harassment can and will be charged in the court of law. Even Michael Saltz will be charged with harassment. Michael Saltz, did you like your new dating sites? Emily D. Baker, did you enjoy what KJ sent you in the post? Yeah. From Felicia, no, it's not reason for it's just try to stop. Just stop. This isn't fun and games. You're playing with people's lives. That's not okay. They are professionals and you're threatening to dox them, pointing out misinformation, which got you into trouble in the first place. Felicia's trying to bring everyone back to reality, and then Chloe says, girl, stop. It's called freedom of speech. You really think I'm getting sued? No, they can't sue me because if they did, they need to sue Jeffrey, Shane, and Trish too. It's all just a game to them. Not exactly, no. Is there anything more that we need to read from this, or we got the point? I think we got the point. Okay, yeah, we got the point. I'm done. That's good. I'm done. Yeah, so that's it. We got the point. Yeah, so we long since forgotten about personal jurisdiction. We long since forgotten about defamation. We long since forgotten about everything. It's all gone completely to hell. So yeah. It's pretty bad. So that's enough of that. If you're enjoying this stream, please remember to like it. If you are not subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. And did you know for 99 cents, you too can become an Uncivil? It's true. Please remember the link. It looks like I'm going to be on with Nate tonight on his channel because I forgot about a regular Wednesday meeting because I'm an idiot. So we'll be on with Nate tonight because I suck. And yeah, and we'll go from there. Yeah. So until later, my friends, cheers and goodbye.